Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing tonight? Post. Where's the music? There's the music. How is everyone doing tonight? It's Saturday night. I feel all right. Actually, I feel a little chilly. I forgot to turn the heater on out here. Normally, I come out here like an hour before I go live and I turn the heater on. And yeah, guess who forgot to do that? So it's a bit nipply out here right now. It's only 13 Celsius. It's a little chilly. Just a wee bit chilly. Just a wee bit chilly. Chilly willy. How's everyone doing today? Where am I gonna put my camera? You can go over here for now. I'm always jealous. Every time I see somebody's like setup, they have like, and this is where I keep all my camera equipment. It's this nice little cabinet or whatever. It's like, yeah, no, this thing is like your scout unit in Civilization. It just kind of wanders off wherever. It like, oh hey, here's my GoPro. So yeah, so what are we doing today? What are we doing? Actually, somebody tell me, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? We are finishing the Mk3.5. That's right. I found the USB stick. I was looking for it. I'm like, I know I have it. Where is it? It turns out I used it on the Mark IV. So I had to go downstairs to grab it just before I went live. But yeah, so today we are wrapping up this guy. Really? Why do you do this? Why? Deactivate? Activate. There we go. This guy. The Prusa Mk3.5. That's right. We built it all up yesterday. We got it we got it all assembled. We powered it up. We didn't let the angry pixies out. The blue smoke did not escape. And now we are ready to actually fire this up and make it do printing things. But to add to my current testing, we have to be fair. We have to be critical of all new bed flingers due to things have changed in our testing algorithms due to extenuating circumstances. So now I have added to my repertoire of printer testing. Anytime I have a newly built bed flinger, I need to tilt it on its back several times to ensure that it was a safe product that was shipped to me. So let's start off our testing with ensuring that normal user servicing of said machine will not cause it to be a problem. I think we're good. Strain relief is good. Cool. Wires are nice. We're good. Okay. Now we're safe to power it up. Hey, it's powering up. Would you look at that? Although it's angry at me. Why are you angry at me? Let me actually get the camera mobile here so I can actually show you what's going on here. Because it's angry. It's angry. It's making the beeps and the squeeps and the sweeps. Why are you angry at me? I didn't do anything to you. Oh, that's why. Okay. Uh-oh. There's the SD card. Okay, firmware update required. Insert the bundled USB drive, restart the printer, and click the knob during the boot. Once during the boot, this will install the Mk3.5 firmware. Okay, so first off, I got all these zip ties under here I gotta get rid of. So let me power this off. And while I clear up these zip ties that I forgot to trim last time, hey, you! Yes, you! Do you want to win some filament from Polymaker? Because every stream, we give away a fresh spool of Polymaker printer chow. And if you want to win one for yourself, it's easy. All you got to do is enter to win. Link in the video description. Enter for your chance to win a spool of Polymaker filament, because we give one away every stream. So link in the description below. Enter for your chance to win. There we go. Okay. So what did it say? It said put in the SD card. So I'm going to put in the SD card in the world's tightest USB slot. And then you turn it on and it said push the knob while it was booting up. Is that what it said? So turn that on. Push the knob. Oh, okay, there we go. The new Mark is available we want to flash. So we are flashing the new firmware that came with it. So I don't know why it doesn't already have firmware on it. I could see a few reasons. One, if their process for shipping this includes, like, it comes with the SD card or with the USB thumb drive, I think it makes sense to not ship it with firmware and just flash your, like, because I'm assuming they have a tool that just flashes dozens of USB sticks at a time. Just automatically dump whatever the latest firmware is onto that. That way you only have one thing you have to keep up to date, instead of having to, like, ensure that your controller boards are always up to date. Because who knows, like, the production line, like, that's the thing. Like, if they make all the controller boards for the year at once and they just sit in a warehouse in racks, you know, it might not be used for 12 months. It might make more sense to just not bother putting firmware on the board, or just like a basic bootloader, and then just ship with a thumb drive that has the latest and greatest firmware on it. So that way, when you boot up the machine for the first time, you just throw in the thumb drive and it'll just update. So that's probably why it didn't come with firmware. Like, that makes sense to me. Also, there's the different versions. There's the Mark IV, the 3.5, the 3.9, and then the full upgrade to a 4.0. So there's going to be different versions of the firmware. So I guess it makes sense just to have the thumb drives have the firmware. That way you don't have to, like, oh no, we shipped a Mark 3.5 controller board with a Mark IV or something like that. I guess that kind of makes sense. Okay, language. English. Hi, this is your original Prusa Mk3.5 printer. I would like to guide you through the setup process. Continue. Okay, so it's doing some fan tests. That's cool. So it's doing some testing. That's doing science. Sciencey stuff with science. Use the touchscreen, or wait, I hate touchscreens. Personally, even if this had a touchscreen, which it does, I don't know if the new firmware finally enables it. Is the left hot end fan spinning? Yes. Cool. I hate touchscreens. I personally don't like touchscreens on 3D printers altogether. I'd much rather just a button, because a button is tactile feedback. Nothing, in my opinion, is worse than running a CNC machine, and these are baby CNC machines, with no tactile feedback. I hate having to rely on touchscreens. Yeah, you home that. Nothing is more annoying than having to, like, look at something and you're just touching a screen. You don't know, like, I'm looking at the nozzle and, like, am I hitting the right spot on the screen? No, button. You know you push the button. During these tests, the heat bed and extruder will move in full range. Your printer may vibrate and be noisier than normal. Cool. So yeah, I'm personally not a huge fan of touchscreens. Touchscreen on resin. Yeah, resin printers, I don't know why they always put touchscreens on resin print. It's probably cheaper. They probably just buy the cheapest, like, touchscreen on the market and they just use it on all their printers. Right, Elegoo? Is that what you do? But yeah, personally, I hate touchscreens. I don't like touchscreens. I'm trying to find, I'm missing an Allen key. I don't know where I put it. Oh well. Oh, here you are. Aha. There we go. Look at that. I have a whole set of Allen keys here. It's a goddamn miracle. Ooh, what are you doing now? I don't know if it's quieter or not. I can't tell. Oh, I prefer knobs like this. Okay. Okay. Oh, now we're doing unfocused stuff. There you go. Focus. There we go. We're doing the nozzle heater checks. Should I go to sleep or should I watch a stream or continue watching 40K lore videos? Why not both? As long as you keep me open on another tab, we're good to go. Although I think it does, I don't know if YouTube does the same thing Twitch does. Twitch can tell if you have a stream open and it's not maximized or it's muted. It can tell, so it doesn't count as a view. You actually have to have, like, if you're watching a Twitch stream to count as a view, it actually has to be not tabbed out, and it also has to have the volume on. So Pinda probe still attached? Yeah, no, this still has the, so for those that are wondering the upgrade paths, you have the 3.5, which upgrades the electronics only. And that's what we have here. So we have a new touchscreen and we have a new electronics box. So we're running all the new electronics. We got input shaper, all that fun stuff, but we're running the original hardware. So we have the original Mark III tool head with the Pinda V2 on it. We have the original heater bed, although we did replace the thermistor. But it's the original heater bed, which I don't even think changed with the Mark IV. Original frame, although since mine is a late production Mark III, I actually have the Mark IV frame on this, which is actually kind of nice, I'll be honest. So. I can get a Mark III second hand for 100, but I still need a replacement screen cable. Prusa only sells fully assembled cable units for 50. Is it worth it? Honestly, for a Mark III, if you can get a Mark III used for 100 bucks, just don't bother with the screen. Like, the screen cable is just a generic cable. You can buy these cables off AliExpress. These are, what are they, 8-pin? 10-pin? These are a generic thing. You don't need to buy these from Prusa. You can buy these off Amazon or AliExpress. These cables are generic cables. It's like an IDE cable. They're generic. But yeah, so you can just buy these cables. You don't need to buy them from Prusa. Like, I'm assuming they sell them with the screen. Wiring. No, they're just generic IDE cables. It's a rep display. It's a standard rep display. Ooh, okay. What do we got here? But yeah, for 150, jump on that shit. 150, jump on that shit, seriously. And then what you do is you just get get a Raspberry Pi W, or Raspberry Pi 0 version 2, and put that in via UART right through the side port. And then there you go, you got Octoprint and all that, and you can put Clipper on it if you want to. Okay. To calibrate with currently loaded filament, press next to load filament. Okay, so we got to load filament. So let me find that. Where's that spool of green filament I was using? Oh, it's over here. Because I like this filament. There we go. Okay. So load. PLA. Okay, so we push it and the filament gets sucked in. Pulling up the listing. Yeah, that's the thing. You said somebody had a... What's that? Oh, that's the white. How you doing, buddy? Good night. Good night. Oh, you want to give me a hug? You're in the garage? Here, bring that to Daddy. That's Daddy's. There you go. Thank you. Okay, are you going to bed? Hey, are you going to bed? What? Yeah, I got the rest of it. No, I can't follow you. I'm working. You gotta go to bed, buddy. Good night. Think, no, I don't want to go to bed. Is this color correct? Yes. Okay. Next, let's calibrate the distance between the tip of the nozzle and the print sheet. In the next step, use the knob to adjust the nozzle height. Check the pictures in the handbook for reference. Next. Okay. Once the printer starts extruding plastic, adjust the nozzle height by turning the knob until the filament sticks to the print sheet. Okay. So we're waiting for it to heat up. A Pi 3B with like 8 gig. That's way overkill. Like, I don't know, like the high okay, so here's the thing. I found a project. I found it, I might have talked about this already. It's called a Cinepi. You use a Raspberry Pi Zero and you pair it, or not a Pi Zero, you use a Raspberry Pi 4 and you pair it with, one second, I'll be back in 1 second. I gotta grab this, use as an example. So I'm gonna keep walking and talking. I don't know how long you can hear me for. I don't know what the transmission distance is, but it's also going through my house. So it probably screws everything up. Where are you at? There you are. Okay, cool. Okay. I stepped on a toy. There we go. Okay. I'm back. Okay, so there's a thing called the Cinepi. And this is a project I may do on this channel. We'll see. See if I can get a sponsor for it. But you basically, it's an open source cinema camera based on the Raspberry Pi. So it's built using a Raspberry Pi 4. It uses the Sony high-res image sensor, which is like really tiny, but for a Pi, that's really good. C-mount lenses and whatnot. So the thing is, I have this, which is a Mk3 Pad 5 with a CM4 built into it. Well, it's attached, it's a CM4. And I'm like, all I would have to do, I have the ribbon cable to connect a screen or a camera right here. So I could, it's got like because the Cinepi requires a bunch of stuff to add like a real-time clock and whatnot. This has it. This has the touch screen. I could put the battery here for the real-time clock. I can connect the camera. So I can basically turn this into a Cinepi for not much, I don't think. So I might do that. It also has HDMI out. So like full-size HDMI out. So that might be something I do with this. We'll see. We'll see. Because like this uses like a 4-inch, so this would be a little bit bigger. I would kind of like to have it like the old school thing, but you need to see the screen, so it would have to be this orientation. But yeah, they sent me this, Mk3 sent me this ages ago, and I never did anything with it because I didn't know how to make something with it. Because like, let's be honest, it's a Pi with a touchscreen. I don't know how people made videos with like the Mk3 Pad 5s and whatnot. It's like, it's the exact same thing as a normal Pi, it just has a touchscreen. So it's, I don't know how you make a 10-minute video out of that, but people did. It needs to be it is a CM4. This is a CM4. It is a CM4. The dead project? Well, what do you mean dead project? Like, it was one person, the last update was 4 months ago. Like, how much of a project do you need it to be? Not everything's like a Voron. Some people just design something, they put it out there, and then they move on to the next thing. So. I don't know. Yeah, I like the Pad 5. Personally, I like the Pad 5 over the Pad 7 because it's smaller. Okay, so I need to adjust my Z height. So we need to go, oh my God, you are way up there. So we need to go down, I think. Oh God, you are. Am I going up or am I going down? I am way up. We're getting there. We're getting there. Every time you turn the knob, it's like 0.1. It's 0.001 millimeters. So you really have to like bring it down. Come on. Come on. Get down. Get down. Bring her down. Almost there. Almost there. Oh, you're touching. You're touching. Oh. There we go. Touchdown. There we go. Touchdown. Curious if you had a section for a better cooling hot end setup on the V0. There's a few different mods. I've never played with them. I just use the normal, what is it, Mini Stealth Burner 2 or whatever it's called now. Okay, I gotta go down a bit more. Go. PF Dennis gifted 5 community memberships. Cheers and appreciate it. Nextruder is... Oh yeah, the Nextruder is great. Like, I really wish you could buy Nextruders by themselves, because I have a feeling people would put them in more printers than just Prusas, because they are actually a really nice extruder. Is that a good first layer? I'm okay with that. I can live with that. Okay. Do you want to repeat the last step and readjust? No, we are good. Happy printing. Joe's telling us to be happy printing. Happy printing. Oh, it's also, is it his birthday today? If so, happy birthday, Joe. I don't know if you're watching. Probably not. Probably asleep. Okay. Crabs everywhere for the end mill fun. Jake England, hello. Yes, we continue with the Milo on Tuesday. Okay, continue. Setup guide for Wi-Fi. Okay, so let me connect this to my Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna do this off camera, so you guys can't see all my stuff. But apparently, let's do this. So let's pull up my phone, scan that. So we go to the Prusa Wiki. Okay, how do we do Wi-Fi? Because I think they just updated. They updated. So my Mark IV hasn't been updated in a while. I'm okay with that. So how do we do this? So to guide that, networking options. Okay, so continue. Firmware, continue to flash. Okay, so we got to update the firmware. So we're updating the Wi-Fi firmware on the ESP module. So that's being done right now. Okay. Somewhat available. All parts are in the Prusa shop replacement category. Oh, nice. I don't want to leak anything. Also, I know it's kind of traditional for us on the Saturday nights, but I have no alcohol. I have no whiskey. I have no beer. I have no liquor at all, which is surprising for our Saturday night stream. Also, I found a shoelace. Why do I have a shoelace here? Okay, so firmware flash successful. Okay. Generate Wi-Fi credentials. Yes. Okay, remove the drive, edit in PC. Okay. Okay. So, let's see here. So we do that, we update, set up the Wi-Fi setting. Okay, generating the credentials. Okay, so we enter the credentials. So we go in here and we have Prusa printer settings. Is this it? Yeah. So you put your SSID here, which is, what is my SSID? Okay, so I'm not going to do that on camera. The password. Zoom into my face. Okay, make sure that's right. Okay. Prusa Slicer. Apparently you can do this in Prusa Slicer now too. Oh, but you gotta be connected by a thing. SSID, write that down. Go to save, file save. Okay. Save. Okay. Save that. Pull that out. And we plug this back in. You know this goes in the right way because they updated it, so now it says Prusa on it. So of course the logo faces out. Okay. Updating config to the printer. Credentials loaded. Delete credential file. Yes. Attempting to connect. You may be using the. You may continue using the printer. The Wi-Fi icon will appear in the status bar once it is connected. There we go. If nothing happens after a few minutes, check it. Oh. Okay, go back. Okay, we're in. Okay, so now what? How do I access this? Okay, so we gotta get the IP address info. So settings, go down to network, Prusa link, and enabled, generate password. Okay, there we go. So there's my address. So let's plug this in. So it's 196. There we go. Prusa link. There we go. Okay. So user is maker. And then the password is a really long, this is the one thing that is kind of annoying, is you have to put in a really long custom password. Yep. It would be really nice is that little Word file that you update also had an option to add a custom password so that you could tell it what the password's going to be. That didn't work. Shoot. Try again. There we go. We're connected. So we are connected via Prusa link. So there we go. Password's 1234. That's the same thing I put on my luggage. Okay, so we are connected. So let's fire up this. So now, Wi-Fi. Oh. Is it looking for my printer? Cancel. Well, okay. Let's go here. So we need to add a new printer. So we need to add physical printer. Wait. How do we do this? How do we do this? Okay. Add remove printers. Add remove preset. Okay. Oh, we got some new updates. Discard. That's just a benchy. Okay, cool. So we have a Prusa Mk3.5 with input shaper. Okay. Next. Okay. Ooh. Don't you love Vorons are right there? Although they got to update the images. These are the old images. Okay, finish. Okay, so we have a Mk3.5, Jesse PLA, speed profile. So let's just change this just to make sure. I love how they changed it to structural and speed for the thing. So there we go. So we have a generic benchy, completely stock settings, Mk3.5, slice now. Stability issues. 50 minutes. So this cuts off a bit of time. So we'll see how fast the real world is. There, print. Follows. Where'd you save that to? Oh, I'll just save it there. Okay, uploading that. And there we go. And now it's uploaded to the printer. You do have the option to push start, but I think what we can do is go to storage. find it in here. There we go. Yeah, 1224. Yeah, there we go. So, wow. So all the stuff that was put on my SD card is from, the newest file on my SD card is from 12.6. Yeah, 12.6. Okay. Start print. Confirm. There we go. You could, yeah, you could. I would have to set it up, but I haven't set it up yet. But I gotta do that. For some reason, I'm always hesitant to send from Slicer. I know I've started doing it more and more with Orca Slicer, but it's just my old workflow is like beaten into my head where I just export file to my print folder and then print folder to the printer. So there's always, it's always on that folder there. So that way it's always good if I have to like access that from another computer. So. Oh yeah, this having built-in Wi-Fi is great. Honestly, nowadays in today's day and age, if your printer's like over like an absolute bargain bin budget machine, it should have Wi-Fi, at least for just uploading files. Like just upload files. Like the way Prusa does it, you can get those little SD cards that could do Wi-Fi transfer. Just build one of those directly into the printer. Just do that. And any machine that's in like several $100 price point, like we're talking up like above $500-600, if it doesn't have a webcam, what the hell? Like the fact that these don't have webcams, the fact that there is no official Prusa webcam in this day and age is like no capping. Like, yes, I'm using that word. Not good. Like how hard would it be? Okay, all you do, just a shitty ESP32 cam. You don't need time lapse. You don't, well, actually having the ability to time lapse is kind of nice. Don't get me wrong, it's for troubleshooting problems. But like, let's be honest. Unless you're one of those people that just uses the printing as your internet content, and you know you use slow-mos and time lapses for that, the average person doesn't need time lapse. The average person doesn't need 30 FPS 1080p monitoring of their printer. 1 FPS 480p is all you need. Am I making spaghetti? Yes, no. That's all you need to know. So having the ability in here to add an IP webcam, and then having a little ESP32 module that you can just kind of connect to your printer somewhere. That's all you need. That's all you need. You can buy ESP32 cams cheap and just connect them to your Wi-Fi and they just a webcam. That's all it needs to be. Like, it can be cheap. You don't need to make it amazing. But the fact that you can't remote monitor this other than, well, I started the print. This is how hot my bed is. And it's printing, but I have no idea how it's actually going. Like that is a big L on Prusa's part. As you know, as much as I like the machines, the fact that they don't have webcam support, even on like several $1,000 machine, is kind of like, come on, Joe. So you can figure it out. You can figure it out. It doesn't need to be great. It does not need to be great. It just needs to be enough to let you know if you're making spaghetti. That's all it needs to know. They have that in Prusa Connect. Yeah, but that requires cloud, and this should be something that you could do remotely. Like, you shouldn't have to rely on a cloud service. You have a camera? I had a camera on my stock Mk3 before I took it off. It's like literally just a Pi cam. Like, you don't need anything fancy. I got one right here. So they actually took it off the printer when we did the, oops, I broke my camera. When we did the, like literally Pi cam mounted right here. And then you just connect it to a Raspberry Pi Zero. That's all you need to do. But it shouldn't need to be something that the user has to do. It should be like, I really wish it was more a actual thing. Will this plug into this? Oh, that's the short cable. I need the full size cable for that. Do I have an IDE cable? Does this even work? Where's my battery? Did I leave it in my pocket? Nope. Oh, I found a marker though. That's always good. Oh, I could use this. Here's my battery. So that is printing. Let's get this camera angle kind of set up here so we can actually see what's going on. Do I gotta? Oh, probably gotta turn off manual focus. Oh no, we're back. There we go. SV06. Well, here's the thing. If your printer is running Clipper, you just plug in a webcam to the USB port and it should just work, unless you're, I don't know if Creality's neutered that feature yet on purpose. But if you're running anything that's running normal Clipper, just plug in a camera to a USB port, it works. That's just how Clipper is. But these don't use Clipper. They don't have a system on a chip, so you don't have that ability, unfortunately. I don't know, do I have one of those IDE ribbon cables out here? I know I have some downstairs. Turn this into a little cinema camera. That'd be cool. How do you find out what hardware something has? Okay, let's power this up. Let's power this up. I want to see what I actually have in this thing. Because I know it's a CM4, but I don't know which model of CM4. Welcome to Raspberry Pi OS. Ooh. SSH is enabled. Cool. Okay. Open terminal. I just realized I don't have a keyboard. Do you have a dongle? You don't have a dongle. Do you have a USB? No. I need a keyboard. Yeah. There we go. Okay, hopefully nothing goes wrong where I need to use my keyboard and stream for the next little bit. Okay, let's plug you in. So what's the Linux command to get your hardware info? What is it again? Is it? Well, I don't need to SSH. I'm connected to it right here. Like I'm literally got a terminal open on it right now. Like there should be a Linux command to just tell you your hardware. Is it neofetch? Cat. So cat cross / mem info. Oh, okay. 2 gigabytes? I got 2 gigabytes of memory, I think. So this is a 2 gig CM4, which I don't think it matters for the Cinepi. It just has to be a Pi 4. Who opened my door? CPU X? How do you get that in Linux? Yeah, I don't have. Okay, how do you add apps in sudo apt get neofetch? Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. Sudo apt get neofetch. Invalid operation. Okay, nope. Programming, graphics, accessories. Pi diagnostic, terminal, task manager. What's task manager tell me? There we go. Okay, so I'm using, yeah, I got 2 gigs of RAM. Preferences. Is there no way to like see what you have? Like, you know how Windows, you can just go to system? Is there like a system equivalent in here? Raspberry Pi configuration. Oh. Recommended software. Ooh, there we go. Calvin. One second. Run cat. I did run that cat. Oh, CPU info. Okay, there we go. Cat pros CPU info. Okay, what do we got here? Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4 Rev 1. So it's a Raspberry Pi 4 with an ARM 7 and 2 gigs of RAM. That should be enough for CinePi. That should be enough for CinePi. Right? It should. Do I have an SD card on here? Can I record? Oh, I do even have, I even have a micro SD card in here. Does it pick up that micro SD card? This is so awkward moving this around. It doesn't pick up that SD card, I don't think. No, I can't record to that SD card. Sudo apt install neofetch. Oh, there we go. Do I want to continue? Yes. And then neofetch. Oh, there we go. Finally, I got the funny. Hey, there you go. So we got Raspberry Pi, Raspbian, Bullseye, Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4 Rev 1, 800 by 480 screen. Ooh. Yeah, 2 gigs of RAM, and the CPU at 1.5 gigahertz. Yeah. So I could use this for CinePi. I think I could use this for CinePi. Oh, like, okay, I gotta plug my keyboard back into my computer so I can actually use it. Because, like, here's all the hardware, and I don't need a bunch of this because, like, it's like, okay, I got the Pi. Okay, it has to be a Pi 4. The Pi Moroni. I don't need to buy this because I already have a touchscreen, so we're good there. So I don't need to buy a 4-inch touchscreen. I already have this, so we're good there. That's power distribution, which I don't think I need. Some cables, fan. Yeah, I think we can make this. The only thing I have to buy is the camera and the lens and print something for it. Apparently a Pi 4 is a hard requirement for CinePi. But I mean, like, apparently this was recorded on a CinePi. So obviously these are little RC cars. But this was recorded on a Raspberry Pi with that Sony camera. Like that ain't too bad for something I could probably build with, you know. Yeah, so you can change a bunch of the settings. There's buttons on it. I'd have to put buttons on it. But yeah, that would be a fun little project. Maybe I'll do that. I got to do something with this because, like, here's the thing. Like, it runs off USB, so I've got a cyber deck or whatever those people call already. It'd be really nice if there was better CM4 modules. If the CM5 better be like compatible with CM4, like drop-in. Can I put games? Do I have games on here? I do. Games. Hee. I got Quake. It doesn't want to launch though. Oh well. And then to turn it off, it just boop. So yeah, I gotta figure out a project to do with this, and I might use the Cinepi. We'll see. He is the camera expert. Well, yeah. And he plays Genshin Impact. I've never played Genshin Impact, and that's not my kind of game. I'm not a fan of those types of games. Oh, Matt S., I know you can do that. That, like, putting Octoprint in a webcam on a printer has been a thing for like a decade now. But the fact that the machine doesn't ship with like basic web, like, it's got Wi-Fi now. The Mark IV has Wi-Fi, but it still doesn't have webcam. Like, that's all you need, just a cheap little webcam. What is this anyways? Pi camera. Oh, this actually is a Raspberry Pi cam. Huh, cool. Does it not Pi OS come with Minecraft? I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I haven't actually looked at it. I know it's a slightly different version of it on here. I think. Bet it run, well, if you were running it remotely, you could run Baldur's Gate on here probably. If you were running it on your computer. H.265 only does 25% reduction in bitrate unless the codec does a double pass, which is computationally expensive. The original. I haven't actually, like, I've played the original, but it was more just like I tried it. I never actually played it. Do you have any problems with the Kraken? Something about heating AV motors or something because the 22 cents resistance? As far as I'm aware, no. Tallboy's been up and running since we did the upgrade and nothing's gone wrong. I printed a few things over the past couple weeks. It's been fine. If you like some extra power to Pi, use an SSD over SD card to get. Well, this is a CM4, and it has eMMC in it. I think. I'm pretty sure this one has eMMC in it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is an eMMC. So this has eMMC memory. I don't know. I think it's only got like 8 gigs of it, but pretty sure it has 8 gigs. Yeah, so there's that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the one with, yeah, Pi Compute 4. Yeah. Pretty sure this is the one with, got a nice little heat sink. Pretty sure it has eMMC. Well, this isn't a CB1. This is a CM4. This is a Raspberry Pi. This is actually a Raspberry Pi. Because when Big Tree Tech reached out and they're like, hey, do you want to try out our Pad 5? I'm like, cool, you better send a Pi with it. And the funny thing is, I think, does this have LAN? Yeah, this actually has Ethernet. I actually have 10100 Ethernet on this, I think, or I might even have 1000. This actually has Ethernet on it. Question is, how can you power this by batteries easily? That's what I gotta figure out, is how to battery power this easily. I do have the full 40-pin header, so I guess you could just tap in 5 volts and directly into that and call it a day. What do I actually have on the back of this? Mk3.5. How much is a Big Tree Tech? Ooh. Oh! Well, if you want the 8 gig CM4, but the Pad 5 by itself is only 90 bucks. It's a 5-inch IPS screen on this. That's not bad, actually. A battery UPS that uses 18650s. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, it's got an onboard RTC. That's kind of nice. I mean, technically, you could just use any USB-C battery pack with this. I do have one of those, like, those things you put 2 18650s and it'll power one of these. I do have one of those. Big Tree Tech, the CB2. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Be interesting. The thing is, everyone here turning a Raspberry Pi into an arcade cabinet, let's be honest, is like one of the most overdone projects in Raspberry Pis. Like, everyone does it. I even put MAME on it. And then you go, cool, okay, cool. Now I can play all these shitty arcade games that nobody plays anymore for a good reason. It's like, yeah, I could throw MAME on here, a few buttons and whatever, but it's like, eh. Trying to find a GitHub page for this. Are there any benefits to the Pad 5 with CM4 or other slightly slimmer over a Raspberry Pi and TFT50? No, honestly, functionally, there is no difference. That's why I never reviewed this, because functionally it does the exact same thing as a Raspberry Pi and a touchscreen. The only difference is it's one complete package. So it would be like literally, this behaves exactly like a normal Raspberry Pi. This is a normal touchscreen. The only difference is it's a combo. That's why I never like did a video on it, because it's like, okay, cool. It just does it. Like, sells retro. Those are the most overpriced things. Like, we have one in the local EB Games, which I think is like GameStop for you Americans. There's like one of those like Pac-Man ones. They want like $500 for it. All it is some cheap MDF, a cheap screen, and a Raspberry Pi. It even has a sticker on it saying powered by Raspberry Pi. And they sell them for like $500. And then they go to like those like outlet clearance stores at the strip mall where they sell them for 80 bucks eventually. So. EB Games in the USA. Yeah, EB... No, we still have them in Canada. EB Games is still in Canada. Back in the day, it was Electronics Boutique. Back in my day. Yeah, it is looking clean. I do have, where did I put it? Where did I put them? Shoot. Oh no. Where did I had a whole thing of test prints, and I don't know where I put them. I had a whole bunch of prints that I had printed off on this before I turned it into the 3.5. Where did I put those test prints? Where did I put them? Ah, where did I put them? I had them. Did I put them in a box? No? Where did I put those test prints? Where did I put those test prints? I put them in a box, and I don't know where I put the box. Are you in here? No? Because I did it right before going live. I took all the prints off and put them in a box, and now I don't know where I put that box. Oh, they're over here. I didn't put them in a box. So yeah, so I have two, I got a benchy. So this benchy right here is a benchy that was printed on this by itself before we did the upgrade. So it'll be interesting to compare the two. Because this took like an hour, I think. Then again, I also do have, you know, just regular Raspberry Pis. Got a Pi 5 somewhere over here. Where did that go? Where did that Pi 5 go? It's over here somewhere. Or Pi 4. It's somewhere over here. If you want oh, dude, it is so depressing going in to like EB Games nowadays because it is the Funko Pop store. Like, I remember, like, there used to be a section for computer games. I bought StarCraft 2 in an EB Games. Like, boxed StarCraft 2. Like, nowadays it's got like a section of it's got like used shovelware trash, so that's where you find all your Ubisoft games, and then you got like a small section of PS3, PS5, Xbox, and Switch games, and then all the rest is shitty tap merch and Funko Pops. Who buys Funko Pops? Who is buying thousands of Funko Pops to keep these stores afloat? I don't get it. I don't get it. People don't buy physical media. I know. Well, that's probably why they sell Funko Pops, because they have to sell something, because nobody's actually buying like physical media anymore. Like, all my games I buy are on Steam. And I don't really play consoles. So. I gotta figure out something to do with this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Funko does NFT draw. Oh god, it's like Radio Shack for gaming. Well, you know what's funny? Radio Shack is technically like still alive in Canada, kinda, sorta. We have what's called the Source. So we had Radio Shack. When Radio Shack closed down, Circuit City, yeah, that's Circuit City, bought up all the stores in Canada and renamed them to The Source by Circuit City. And then Circuit City went under, and they spun off The Source as their own thing. So we still have The Source, which is technically like what Radio Shack has become here in Canada. The thing is, they're shit. They just sell cell phone plans and like overpriced electronics. Like they don't sell anything good. They sell the stuff you can get at Best Buy for like $10 more. Turn it into a pie hole. If I was gonna do that, I'd use like a Pi 3 or something for it. Also, I have a full Unraid server that could do that. They're shutting a ton of it. Well, it makes sense when I walk by the one at the mall and there's like 8 employees in there, and all they're doing is just shooting the shit because there's like one random customer, and they don't carry anything worth going in there to. Because let's be honest, you go to any modern mall, you have 20 stores that just sell cell phone plans, and then another dozen stores that do nothing but sell cell phone cases, and they all sell everything for the same price in Canada. So I have no idea how they're viable. The source is now being rebranded Best Buy Express. So that's gonna be funny in my mall, because the source in my mall is right next to a Best Buy Express, like which only does cell phone plans. Again, like 20 stores at my mall do nothing but cell phone plans. Most malls are shutting down. Well, here, the mall in my town is actually doing pretty good, apparently. As far as malls go, mine is still doing kind of popular because there's literally nothing else to do in my shitty town. So kids still go to the mall. Hard to compete. Yeah, like I got this. Like I needed my camera rig, right? So I've got my monitor mounted on here, and I had like a really shitty plastic mount for the hold the camera, and I didn't like it. So I bought the small rig one. And literally the other day I was at Henry's, and I'm like, hey, I need a little adapter for this, so I could put my monitor on my camera, or on my camera cold shoe. So I can mount my camera to it, right? And it needs to be able to swivel around. So if I'm recording, I could do that. And then when I'm recording myself, I could do that. And it needs to be able to tilt and whatnot. And I had a really shitty plastic one that like wasn't meant for this, that I made it work, that I found from like, I can't even remember where I got it from. And I'm like, I'll just buy the small wig one. I went to the Henry's, and they had like, it's like $50. And I'm like, it's $30 on Amazon. Why would I buy it here? So went on Amazon that night, showed up the next day. And I also picked up a cold shoe, so now I have my shotgun mic on it. They should open malls. Amazon already has enough. Amazon is already controlling enough people's lives. Remember that episode of South Park where they opened the Walmart in South Park, and everyone ends up working for Walmart and being paid to work at Walmart and shops at Walmart? Yeah, that's basically Amazon now. Got a tripod adapter for the Action 4, $9 next one. There you go. And that thing weighs nothing, so you can use anything as a tripod. Like, I'll be honest, I don't even think I'm gonna bring a tripod to Rocky Mountain. Normally when I cover events, I was bringing this guy, right? So I got my GoPro, and then I had this guy. This monopod. Yeah. So I have this Cobra monopod, which I really like. It's a really nice monopod. So I would do that. I'd leave this attached to my GoPro. And boom, I'd be ready to record a video. Bing, bang, boom. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. And it's stable enough that, yeah, if you run into it, it'll fall over. But, you know, it's only a GoPro. It doesn't weigh that much, and it'll just stay there. So you can, you know, and when you're done, you just, you know, that pocket, and then undo these two. It folds back up, and off I go. So it's really nice, but now that I got the Osmo Action 3, I probably won't even bother, because I'll probably just, you know, freehand it all, because it's so stable. So GoPro looks awesome. John, everything about it looks awesome except for the image. I cannot stand the image quality out of this GoPro. Tell GoPro they need a bigger sensor. They need a bigger sensor, and yes, I know the Hero 12, like the 11 and 12, they have the 8x7. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's 8x7. That's really cool. That's horrible because nobody actually makes videos in 8x7. It's really good to pull footage from if you got a crop, but everyone does 16:9. Okay, so yes, you have this massive sensor, but you're only using this much of it when you actually do a video. Once you add your stabilization and everything, it crops it way down to here, and your low light ability goes to shit. So unless you're recording outside under the concentrated power of the sun, image quality on a GoPro sucks. Or you have like massive studio lights. Also, it's very jittery inside with the autofocus. So. Yeah, honestly, if I didn't get the Osmo 3, I would have, or if I didn't get the Pocket 3, I would have got the Action 4. But I wanted the gimbal because it even more stabilization for Mr. Shaky Hands me. So, is the front a touchscreen too? Oh, that's pretty cool. What you know? What I'm going to do? Every video from now on is going to be captured with this Raspberry Pi camera, connected to the DSi on the. This is how I'm going to record my videos in the future. You're responsible for the 8.7. Yes, it's about extra stabilization for yes, it's intended for. Well, I know. And if you are that is a nice thing. Don't get me wrong. I wish more cameras had. You could record the whole frame instead of like my camera. Even this. Look, here I'll show you. You ready? Oh, turn that on. Here I'll show you. This I don't like. Okay. So you'll be able to see this. Okay. Once I actually do that. Okay. So it's in video mode now. So I don't know how good you can see this, but it's in video mode now. Okay. So I'm going to try not move it. I'm going to move it to camera mode. Okay. It'll refocus. Okay. See how it cropped in the sides? That's because it's showing the full sensor. When you take a picture, it records the whole sensor. But when you put it in video mode, it goes to widescreen, but it cuts off the top and bottom. Why can't I record on the whole sensor? Give me the whole sensor. So that way I can reframe stuff easy if I need to, right? I know some cameras could do that. I think Panasonic's could do that. A few cameras can do that. But I mean, like, I paid for the whole sensor. Give me the whole sensor. Lack of processing? It's not lack of processing. Because then, if it was lack of processing, then it would do what it does already. So right now, that camera, if I record at 4K 30, I get a crop. If I record at 4K 24, I don't get a crop. But I like my 30 FPS because everything in digital records in 30 or 60. So if I were to do 24, it'd be a collision there. Like technically, this is scuffed because this is 24 FPS, this camera. This one's 60. This is 60. I upload at 60, but this camera is 24 because I don't want to crop it in. So. This is more than 15 minutes. Yeah, we know. Also, it doesn't look like complete shit, so it's okay it's more than 15. I don't agree. Oh yeah, John, don't get me wrong. I'm critiquing as I'm using the GoPro wrong. I know I'm using the GoPro wrong. It's an action cam. It's meant to be an action cam. But it'd be nice if there was like, you have the GoPro Hero line, which is the action cam line, and then just the GoPro camera line, which is just a good all-around compact camera for like vlogging and like just compact filmmaking. It'd be nice if there was those two streams of things. It's kind of like how Sony had the A3000 or the X3000, the Sony Action Cam. If you notice, streamers, like the people that do live streaming, that use like backpack cameras at events and whatnot, they still use that camera. They don't use GoPros, they don't use DJI, they use that A3000 because it's so bloody good. And Sony, what did Sony do? Yeah, we're gonna completely drop that whole thing and switch to the ZV series, which is shit. And every time a new ZV comes out, it's worse than the last one. It's like they had a good thing there and they just stopped. There's a reason I'm trying to get my hands on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema original. They still make those? No, they don't. Sony stopped making them. They switched to the ZV series. But yeah, I've been trying to get my hands on a Pocket Cinema original, but good luck, because now that's a cool thing to do. So when they used to go for 400 to 500 used on eBay, now the cheapest I found was like 1100, which is way out of my budget. The ZV-E10. The ZV-E10's okay. The thing is, though, the ZV-E10 is an A6400 with a bunch of stuff taken out. And digital image stabilization. need more cameras as IBIS. And the problem is I really don't like cameras without IBIS. I can't use. I literally physically cannot use cameras without IBIS unless they're on a tripod. Like I can't. Like I literally cannot hold a camera steady enough without IBIS. Like look at, I am holding this as steady as I can. And look at that shotgun mic bounce. There we go. On a Blackmagic Pocket 4K, and despite its flaws, it's great for TV. Yeah, for TV product. The reason I want the OG one is because of that Super 16 sensor on it that only does 1080p, 24 FPS or whatever, but it's got a really nice look to it, and I can find cheap Micro Four Thirds. I just want it for a fun little project, essentially. Print some 3D print a cage for it and whatnot, because I'm not paying $500 for one of the few cages that you can still buy for it. If the video mode used the whole sensor as you want, your image would be shaky. The extra space on the edge would be effectively buffer space. Yeah, that's what digital image style is. That's the problem with the GoPro indoors, is because indoors you don't have the crazy lighting. So you have your sensor like this, that's cropped into 16:9, and then you also have another crop in because of digital image stabilization, and then horizontal or the linear stabilization as well. So you have this massive sensor and you're only using this much. So that means light coming in is really cut down. And then because low light, you get a grainy image and the autofocus is very jittery. That's what I ran into problems. So get a pistol grip and hold it like a 1911. I could do that. Or I could do what I normally do. Just throw that bitch on a tripod and don't move it. Although I gotta be really fancy. I'm like one of the few people that don't have like a little, what is it called that just auto tracks, like not gimbal, a sled. Is it a sled? Dolly. There's a few YouTubers, I watch them. They do like the kind of stuff I do, where they're in like a little shop or whatever and they're working on stuff. But every shot is just a dolly shot. It's like, and then I cut to this, and then I cut to this, and then I cut to this, and the camera's always moving. It's like, no, just lock the camera down, damn it. It's annoying. You know, just because you have the dolly doesn't mean every shot has to be a dolly shot. It's like how I refuse to get the blue and purple lights in the background. I will not get a YouTube light. I refuse to get a YouTuber light. For a GoPro, I wish more companies would excel in the niche. I don't know if GoPro excels in action cam. My biggest criticism of GoPro has been their reliability. The amount of time, every single event I have covered with the GoPro, I have come back to at least 1 or 2 interviews with no audio. Or the audio, because I used, I have the media mod, so I can plug my wireless lab in. Every time I've come back from an event that I've covered, 1 or 2 interviews, it didn't work. I only got the onboard audio. It did not record from the lab. Every single time, 1 or 2 interviews. And it's super annoying. And then half the time, like, you have to like reboot it by taking the battery out and doing a reset every now and then, which if you have the media mod on, it's annoying, because if you have it mounted on something, you have to undo the mount, take the media mod off, take the battery out, put the battery back in, put the media mod back in, put the little thingy legs down, and then screw it back into the mount. So, what color is that green? It is Jessie Premium PLA Green Slime Glitter. I would be printing with some Polymaker, but I don't think I actually have any Polymaker PLA. I'm all out. That's why Spilly has been a push GoPro. CO mandated a big effort. Like, don't get me wrong, it's real. Like, I got the 10 and they're on the 12, and apparently it's a pretty big jump up. Like the 12's a pretty. The 10 to 11 is a bigger jump from 11 to 12, from my understanding. Because, you know, every year we got to have a new thing. So not every year you get to have a huge upgrade, but how's the motors, by the way? Stone cold, stone cold, stone cold. Yeah, the motors are all cool. You can press both buttons for 8 seconds to reset it. Oh, okay. The 12 is a lot more stable. That makes sense. So the question is, I'm gonna keep this, obviously, because I still use it. I use this on the most recent video where I was fixing the X1. I did take the media mod off of it because it was overheating. I found this actually, you would think it's weird. It records better at 5.3K than it does at 4K. Like 4K image does not look as good as 5.3. And yes, I know it's the actual image itself. I don't know if it cuts out lines to make 5.3 4K or what, but recording at 5.3K, it overheats with the media mod. So I took the media mod off, which I don't really use it now because in studio, it's just B-roll shots. So I don't need the plug in. So without the media mod though, this is probably gonna be my CNC cam. So if I'm working on the CNC, if I need a camera in the splash zone, it's gonna be this guy. Because the Osmo is not waterproof, and the Sony, I ain't putting that in the splash zone. So this is gonna be my splash zone camera once we start doing CNC stuff. The 4K is scaled from the 5.3. That kind of makes sense why, because I've even tried recording at 1080p to see if it was any better on this, and it's like, not really. But I'm also horrible at like color grading and all that, so I don't do any of that. Flood cam. Yeah, well, it's waterproof. Even with the stick here, even with the add-on Volta battery, it actually is waterproof still because it plugs in and it's a sealed USB-C port. So this is still waterproof even with the external battery, which is actually really nice. That I do like. How's the CNCs coming? Good. We got the XYZ assembled. And Tuesday we're putting it on its table, which means I gotta start clearing out back here so I can put it in its home position because we're gonna have to start doing electronics on it and whatnot. And I'm gonna have to get a 220 plug out here. When Milo go burr? I don't know. I figure 1 more week for physical building of the printer, 1 week for electronics, because we only do 1 stream a week for the build. 1 stream for electronics, and then so maybe 3 to 4 weeks we'll be cutting. 3 to 4 weeks before, like I could rush it, but it's CNC Tuesday, so we only work on it on the Tuesdays. We are at 90% done, by the way. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fire up the same print that I did previously on the Mark III that had all of the stuff on it. So I might actually still have it here. So there we go. Yeah. So the next thing we print will be this one, which has all the things that we printed last time. So take a drink, he said, printer. Ah, dang it. I don't have anything to drink. I've got, let me see, what do I even have? I don't have anything to drink. No, that's an empty box. I've got Monsters. There we go. There we go. That'll do. I got a Monster energy drink. How's that? What's the CNC equivalent of a Benchy? There really isn't one. There's a few like generic things a lot of people cut, but there's no like, this is the Benchy of CNC. Three, two, one block. It's like, okay, 3, 2, 1 block. Done! Chest pawn. Yeah, the chest pawn is a pretty common thing, but you can't really do that on a Milo unless you cut it on its side, because it's not a 5-axis. Or you would need a 4th axis, minimum. 2 minutes left. Crack a monster at 9:30. I usually don't go to bed till like 1 or 2 a.m., so. Make your own block for scoring metas. I've got like 5 or 6 1, 2, 3 blocks, so. Almost done. So again, for those wondering, this right here is a benchy that was printed before we did the upgrade. So we have a direct 1-to-1 comparison here. Same filament and everything. They're 2 CNC. Yeah, I saw that. They're going to look very similar because I think they're all kind of influenced by the original Open Builds mini mill. Like, let's be honest, there's only so many ways you can make a CNC machine. It's either going to be a portal one, where you have like the gantry moves around in the XY, or you're going to have a vertical mill style, which is basically a CNC Bridgeport. Should do 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks to match this password. It's a mighty fine boat. So according to this is 6 hours faster than the Mark III. The Mark III estimate time was like 20 hours and something, and this is 14 hours and 1 minute. So this should be faster than the Mark III by 25%, roughly. Roughly 6 hours, 6, 8, 12. Yeah, you're looking at like a 20-25% increase in speed, because this also has input shaper now too. Although there's no load cell. It's layer by layer. This is a layer by layer print. Kind of suddenly become IDEX very carefully. There we go. All done. So that was a total print time of... How high are you going to go up? Where are you going? There you go. Okay, so that was 1 hour, 8 minutes, but I think that included heat up time. So the question is, how much better is it? So I guess like the absolute best thing you could say is that I can't tell the difference. There's a little bit more fuzzy on here, very little like light stringing, but it's like, I'm not going to judge that because that's nothing. That could just be the filament's been out here and it's cold. It filled the gaps a bit better. The gap fill on, like, look at the smokestack between the two. So this one right here is the old one. This is a Mark III. This one's the Mark IV. So, yeah. So this one, or actually, no, you do have a gap on here. I was holding them backwards. So there's a little bit difference in gap fill, but that could just be slicers. That's just slicer setting. Yeah, it's, I don't know. They're both benchies. It's just this one's faster. That's the difference. Is it prints just as good. It's just faster now. So I do have them Sharpie marked. And this one isn't getting a Sharpie mark, so I know that it's the Mark III. Because all these other ones have Sharpie marks. It's the same reason I haven't taken the support off this, so that way I could do them both at the same time on video. But The Mark III did do the toaster, the clock spring toaster. It did a pretty good job on it. So. No lock. There you go. Toast. Any tips for ESUN ABS Plus tuning? And get it low enough to do Voron parts, but then they're so weak they break with even the slightest bit of force. What do you mean you can get it low enough? What do you mean I can get it low enough to do Voron parts? Like, what do you mean? Can you add an extruder to a Mark III? You can, Hagnatic. It's called the, they sell three, there are 3 upgrade paths for the Mark III through Prusa. You could do the Mk3.5, which is this, which is old hardware, new electronics. There's the 3.9, which is the new electronics and the next extruder. And then there's the full upgrade, which gives you the new motors, which are 0.8 or 0.9 motors. These are 1.8s. 10 millimeter rods for your Z, and a new frame. Although, or actually, no, you might keep the frame. I can't remember. But yeah. So. What do you mean 0.87? Your flow? Like, are you... That's pretty low for flow. Why are you so low on flow? Is it the parts don't fit? Like, what are you doing for flow? Have you done input shaping and pressure advance and all that's all tuned out and you're good? And then you're trying to print the part? Because 0.87 for flow rate is very low. No new frame. Yeah. So the thing is, though, I actually have the new frame. So mine's like a Prusa Mk3.5 because I have a Mark IV frame. Because I guess they stopped making Mark III frames. Okay, storage. Can you sort by date? Can't sort by date. Cancel. Put a new folder though. Okay. So where is? There we go. And all that 255. Okay, so that's the flow that works with the threads. Okay, here's the thing, Admiral Adama. We don't do threads anymore. We don't do threads anymore. So yes, it's good for testing, but you may want to bump that up. Also, that flow rate is really only for the outer wall. For your inner walls in your infill, you want that 0.4, or for your infill, you want it like 0.6 or 0.7. You want to overflow your infill. Yeah, it's good for getting, like the thread test was for the 2.2s. The 2.4 is a lot less critical with tolerancing on printed parts than the 2.2 was, the V2.2. It's still good if your printer could do it, but don't like freak out if it's not. Like, basically, if you can print the parts and you can put the screws in them and the parts that go together, you're pretty much okay. And what are you printing on too? That's another thing. What are you printing on? What printer? Yeah, if you're dropping your infill down to 0.87, that's why your prints are weak AF, because the bones of your print are weak. Like, I usually overflow my infill. So if I got a 0.4 nozzle, my infill, I'm usually flowing at 0.6 or 0.7 line width. The inner walls are 0.4, and the outer wall, I usually do like 0.36 millimeter. Yeah, if the bearing test is good at 0.94 on the outer wall, then yeah. I would do 0.94 for your outer wall. Then a straight point like 100% for the inner wall, and then overflow your infill like 120%, 140%. Basically, whatever your flow rate cap is, you want to be hitting that with infill. I have never done an accuracy print like the cauliflower. I've never really had to. Any extruder recommendations for a large format printer? Any of them, really? Depends on what printer are you putting that in. Like, are you DIYing a printer? If you're DIYing a printer, you could go with something like a Revo Roto, or something like a, you could buy an extruder, put that, you can put whatever you want. I'm personally not a huge fan of all-in-one solutions, because if something goes wrong with one, it takes out the other. And it's like an ecosystem thing, and usually you don't have the same design freedom that you would have on, you know, having the extruder and the hot end separate. But I will say I do like the Revo Roto. I do have a Mark III modded with one. I've done a bunch of prints on it. It is nice if you're looking for an all-in-one solution. I know Bondtech has all-in-one solutions too. Or you could just, you know, use an orbiter plus any other hot end you want. A machine that big, what are you planning to print, and what is the normal nozzle size you plan on using on it? Because if you tell me you plan on printing nothing but a 0.4 millimeter nozzle on it, I'm gonna smack you. Like, what is your design goals with that machine, and what do you plan on printing mostly? And are you basing it on something else? So, like, if your design inspiration is a rat rig V-core, then I would say use an EVA tool head. Also, if you are basing it on a Voron, please do not be doing that, because the Voron with its 6mm XY belts do not scale up to that size well at all. Have the highest melt rate. A Goliath would be okay. Yeah, a machine, like I got a Goliath in my VZ bot. It works really good. The only thing I'm always hesitant about these ones with the super long melt zone is if they get more, they're more likely to get damaged in a crash. Simple as that. How's that first layer on this, by the way? Oh, that's good. Orbiter 2. Orbiter 2 is good. Get a tube hot end. I don't even max out my Goliath. In the VZ bot, the Goliath doesn't even max it out. Or it doesn't even max out the Goliath at the speeds I'm printing at. Oh, man, I swear these bots are getting worse and worse. Yeah, the Twitter bots are getting so weird. Because, like, guy joins in 2011, and if you look at his sub history, it's all new people, and it starts with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and then all of a sudden, these are the bots you get now on Twitter. So this is the average Twitter bot, how it works. You can figure them out really easily. They join up, they'll follow a few random people, and then you see Donald Trump, Elon Musk, a bunch of blue check marks, including like libs of TikTok and whatnot. So obviously this person's right wing. And then all of a sudden, boom, Bamboo, Printables, 3D Print Bunny, Mr. Beast, Prusa, Dave Makes Stuff, Uncle Jesse, Joel Telling, Photosmint, Filament Frenzy, Joseph Prusa, 3D Maker Noob, Stefan, Polymaker, Abby, and me. So it's like, you could tell the bots are like following categories of people because they all do the exact same. Like, every time I check out a new follower on Twitter lately, it's a bot. Because it's like crazy right-wing bullshit, and then all of a sudden all the 3D printing people in a row, and it's always the same order. It's always the exact same order of who they follow. And it's like, yeah, you're a bot, block. It's like, it's so telltale. It just, and the accounts are all old, so they're all like compromised accounts too. So, block. Yeah, they're all compromised accounts because it's all of a sudden it's all right-wing bullshit, and then all the 3D printing people in the exact same order every time. Like, yes, I know there is overlap because there's a whole group of the 3D pew pew people, which good for them. I got nothing against them, right? Good folks, whatever. You're legally allowed to do it. Go have fun. I would too, but it's hilarious how obvious it is. CB1 bad? It's got bad Wi-Fi. If you're not using the Wi-Fi on it, it's okay, but the CB1's got not great Wi-Fi. May just have. I really don't like. Oops, wrong button. I don't like getting into politics. I'm a firm believer everything is a lot more nuanced than it is. There's like I'm not right wing. I'm not left wing. I have my beliefs, and some of them go here, some of them go over here. I'm not a huge fan of going this person because they vote this way is automatically here, but you know you can kind of make it out. It's yeah. Problem is if you go too far one way or the other. Tell us your thoughts on... I'll just put a blanket statement out. I hate crypto and anyone who promotes crypto. Because crypto is a scam, and anyone who promotes crypto is promoting a scam. So, there's my thoughts. That's my issue. I have one CB... Yep, I stopped using CB1s because they're so spotty. It's just the Wi-Fi issue is just horrible on them. It has to do... I think it has something to do with, like, Linux support with it. But it's not bad. Yeah, if you're using it for Ethernet, it's okay. Like, if you're hardwiring, which... That is something I need to do out here. I need to run an Ethernet cable and put a switch over here so I can plug these printers in, so I'm not... Like, I've got my Wi-Fi right there. So this whole room is covered in Wi-Fi. Like, literally, the farthest printer will be from Wi-Fi in this room is 10 feet. So I'm not super concerned about hardlining all my printers, but yeah. Hate crypto, but I prayed for my... I should have cashed in my Dogecoin when I had the chance. If I could have found the hard drive I threw out in, like, 2012 with it. Apparently they did revise it. Apparently the newer CB1s are nowhere near as bad as the old ones. Enjoy. If I buy it, yeah. So I got Ubiquity. So my main router is an Amplify Alien, which isn't like Ubiquity. It's a Ubiquity, or it's an it's not like their consumer line, or it's a consumer line. It's not their professional. And then I got a Ubiquity PoE switch / Ethernet or Wi-Fi like thing. I got that thing there. You can see it. That's PoE internet that actually comes up that tube. So it's like 4 or 5 Ethernet switches, and then it also does Wi-Fi. So that's my setup out here. And the reason there's a conduit tube is because I had to punch a hole in my garage to go into my basement to run Ethernet from my router out here. And because it's a garage, you can't just have a hole in your wall. Like, technically, you have to vapor seal your garage. If your garage is attached to the house, fumes cannot get from your garage into your house, just in case you ever have a car running out here. So you have to like have it all vapor barrier and everything, and if you punch a hole through the wall, it has to be sealed. So. My political platform is whoever promotes ranked choice voting. They'll never do that. They tried that in Canada, and then the person who said they would do it as soon as they got in charge said nope, because it would lower their chances. I hate being forced between someone I don't like and a wannabe dictator. Like, so I'm not American, and I'm not going to get involved in American politics because holy shit, that's fucked. Y'all are screwed down there. I'm sorry, everything is. But like, as a non-American guy, I don't like wannabe dictator. I don't know about you, but that is not a hard answer. Like, that is not a hard question to answer. If your choice is that, he's kind of old and I kind of don't like him. This guy wants to be a dictator. Like, like, it's not that hard of a choice as a non-American. Like, the only people that seem to like this guy are the people that like him because he hates the same people they hate. But whatever. Again, please, okay, we're getting off this. We're getting off this train. We're getting off this train. LTT store screwdriver. There you go. Who here has an LTT store screwdriver? Put a 1 in chat. Let's flush the chat. We're going to flush the chat. If you have an LTT storage screwdriver, put a 1 in chat. There we go. And then if you don't like Linus shaving his beard, put a 5 in chat. If you don't like Linus's new facial hair or lack of facial hair, put a 5 in chat. That shocked me. The first video that propped up where he did the ad read and he didn't have a beard, I was like, what have you done with Linus? It's like me, one day I'm just gonna go live. Like I trimmed the beard up. I got it all nice and cleaned up. But one of these days I'm gonna come out here and there won't be a beard. And it will be shocking. The Gamer's Nexus. I don't have any Gamer Nexus mats. I have one of the LTT ones because it was on clearance, and then I have a Gamer Subs one on my desktop computers. That one it technically is safe for work, but as shocking as a Bamboo A1. Gamer Subs doesn't work. I like it. I drink, you know, the sugar-free monsters. I try to avoid sugar. I don't drink Coke with sugar anymore. That's like one of the things. So it's good. I like it. I don't know. You're trying to make Linus go blonde again. Yeah, I saw that. Jack, he says he's going to be a dictator for one day. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Nobody is a dictator for one day. Also, the whole border thing in the U.S., I know we're diving in, we're going down that route. I said we're not. But borders in the U.S. are federal responsibility. Their entire purview falls entirely under the federal branch of the government. So the Texas governor going, hey, I'm going to, you know, shove some guys down there, violates the Constitution. So as an American who's all my Constitution, you're actively supporting people that are actively not following the Constitution, because the Constitution says the border, the international American border, is entirely within the purview of the federal government, not the state. So the state has zero stance, according to the United States Constitution, to actively enforce the international border. So for the Americans who are all like, oh, you can't touch my guns, it's in the Constitution, you're okay, you're following it there, but you're okay not following it there. So straight up, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And I'm not even American, and I know that. So I just love that. Just pick and choose, pick and choose. Yeah, and also, like, it's basically, remember, it's been a thing for decades, but it only comes up during election years. Remember the whole, oh, the convoy is coming. Yeah, it only pops up when election years, because it's straight up, it's media for the masses. Simple. Don't watch news. It's all shit. Any cable news is in the business of money first. Sorry, Leafs late game. Everyone at Mikey's Lab, we now feel sorry for Mikey's Lab, because Mikey's Lab went through and put himself through the torture of actually watching a Leafs game. Did they win? Remember how there used to be a law saying you weren't allowed to report news, like fake info or like not news as news, and then Reagan got rid of that? And then Fox News popped up. Kind of funny how that was a thing. Leafs winning, nah. Yeah, I feel sorry for you. You're watching a Leafs game. Ooh, ooh. Leafs won. Oh my God. It's a Christmas miracle. This is, hey, this is the year. This year is the year the Leafs are gonna get the cup. This year is the year, and then Chep's kid is gonna knock you out. You're gonna get all the way to the Stanley Cup, and then Chep's kid is just gonna stop you. He did not. Okay. Next person. Okay. We're getting off the politics train. There's a stop. We've passed the stop for the politics train. No more politics. Renting Nero. No, this is like, let's be honest. What are we doing tonight? Hey, I've got 3 hours of a printer printing. We know it prints. It's a Prusa. Of course it prints. So we got to do something for the next like hour and 10 minutes. I started hockey. There you go. Imagine if I had alcohol. Well, imagine if my wife had happened to run out to the store after putting the little guy down, and she had happened to pick something up. What did she get? Oh, shit. That's what she got? Oh, okay. Shit. What is that what we got? Oh, there's the, okay. I'll take it. Well, at least it's 5%. Arizona hard iced tea with lemon flavor. So tonight, I'm stealing my wife's drink. It ain't whiskey, that's for sure. What's the next Nerf project? The zinc, the pistol. I'm gonna start printing the parts for that this week. I'm gonna be putting the Prusas to work, printing PETG for it. I'm gonna get all the Mark 3s and 4s lined up, and we're gonna print parts on them. How hard is that tea? 5%. So, I mean, it's harder than American beer. And it's not cold. It's funny, like, iced tea up here, hard iced tea up here is harder than American beer. PETG, yeah. Apparently the zinc is recommended to print it in PETG. Look at that boogie. Look at that boogie. That's your 32-bit input shaping brain going brr. American beer is just Canadian beer. Okay, if you have little kids present, tell them to put their hands over their ears. How is American beer like having sex in a canoe? Let you ponder on that for a second. How is American beer like having sex in a canoe? Yeah, Matt got it. It's because it's close to water. So I might have my first layer a little too close. I'll admit it. I might have mistuned my first layer to be a little too close to the bed, but I think we'll be okay. So, who here is playing Helldivers? And how badly am I going to get sucked in if I fire it up tomorrow? But I got it downloaded. I bought Helldivers 2. I got it downloaded. I am ready to fight for democracy and Super Earth and manage democracy. I got a feeling Monday when the wifey leaves for work and it's just me at home and the little guy's in school, I'm going to fire it up and I'm just going to get sucked in. Do I like killing bugs? I do like killing bugs. Servers are at that's why I'm going to be playing it Monday at 9 a.m. Because Monday at 9 a.m. everyone's at work and I'll be home. I got it 2 days ago and I've done 16 hours. Oh, jeez. Servers are mostly fixed. Well, I know what we're doing on the Twitch on Monday. Oh, Daryl off Earth is like, you gotta get it. I'm like, fine, I'll get it. $700K congruent. Damn. Forbidden West. I haven't played like what games. Okay, so in terms of games that I have bought in the past like year, Baldur's Gate 3. Helldivers 2. That's it. Oh, I did buy Divinity Original Sin 2 because that was on sale the other day on Steam, and I want to play that at some point. So I did pick that up. Helldivers about killing bugs. It's about spreading democracy and defending Super Earth, and you just happen to kill bugs along the way. And cyborgs too, I think. Although Dune 2 comes out in like is it next weekend? Dune 2 comes out? I gotta watch that. Lowest beer in the fridge is 5.9, the highest is 9. Next we drink. Well, yeah, if you're buying like real beer, Baldur's Gate 3 is like, I know, I've got several hundred hours in it. It's great, I love it. Oh yeah, Armored Core. I forgot, I bought Armored Core 6. Armored Core 6 was really cool, but I beat it and like, I smashed through it in like a week and then I haven't touched it since. Because I didn't get into like the multiplayer that much. Now if Gears of War? Is that what GAO is? Is Gears of War still a thing? Like for me, Gears of War is like an Xbox 360 series. Are they still making Gears of War? There already is a Starship Troopers game that came out last year that was okay, but it did not. Oh, God of War. Okay. I haven't played it. I watched the first and second one. So I played the original God of War back on the PS2 and PS3. So I played those ones. But the relaunched ones, I've never played them, but I did watch a YouTube video about them. Because you know how some channels on YouTube, they'll basically take games and turn them into a movie? So I watched like an 8-hour movie on God of War. So I've seen the game, I've just never actually played it. The Doom games, yeah, I have played it, 2016 and Eternal. Those were good. Oh, we got some stringies. Got a little bit of string. On the Stream Deck. Yeah, the Steam Deck, I keep wanting to get a Steam Deck. I keep wanting to get like a used Steam Deck. But I can't justify it just because of the fact I don't use it. Like I've got a laptop, I use it traveling to and from events. That's it. So like 5 times a year, if that, and only events that I fly to. Because if I'm driving, I'm driving. And then at home, well, I've got my computer. Oliver, $2, listening late at work. Great content. Cheers. This is why I talk a lot. Because let's be honest, right now it's a Prusa printing, which. I mean, it's cool, but it's like we know it's going to print fine because it's a Prusa. Emulation on the Steam Deck is good. It is. It's basically, what is it? Like it's powerful enough to do Switch. It's funny that the Stream Deck is a better Switch than the Switch. Like you can run games at double the frame rate or double the resolution and a higher frame rate on a Switch, or on a Stream Deck than the Switch itself, or Steam Deck. I keep getting, this is a Stream Deck. So for those, this is a Stream Deck, the console is a Steam Deck, and I always get those mixed up. Last Epoch is great if you're into ARPGs, better story than Diablo 4. ARPGs, I've never really got into those. Like, I played Diablo 2 way back in the day on Battle.net for a little bit. I was more of a StarCraft person. And let's be honest, a lot of stuff's better than Diablo 4. Does the Steam Deck play Doom? It does. It works pretty damn good. Well, even over 5G, S20 Ultra, and Bluetooth Xbox controller, Xbox Cloud. I don't have an Xbox. I have an Xbox controller that I use on my computer, but that's about it. Yeah, Doom is optimized very well. Sons of the Forest. Now, I don't like survival games. I already have a job. Why would I want a game that's a job? I'm not a fan of those, like I like Minecraft. Minecraft has like its own special place in my heart because it's Minecraft. It's Minecraft. Everyone likes Minecraft. But games that are just like base building, like collectathon games where it's like, okay, get 20 wood, you can make a house, and then get 20 houses and you can make a building. Like those kind of open world, like just collectathon games, they don't really capture me like they used to. Like DayZ, back when it was a mod, was fun. I like that, but Sons of the Forest. You know what was a good? You know what put me off Sons of the Forest? Go watch the shoot. Who's the YouTuber? Did a really good video on the forest. Not James Ski. Soviet Womble. Soviet Womble. Go watch. Let me pull it up here. Soviet Womble did a video on the forest. Where is it? This. So Soviet Womble did a video on the forest. It's a 3-hour like breakdown of it. It is really good, and it breaks down a lot of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of these types of games, like the early access base building with like a little bit of a story tied in. Like, just watch this video. Also watch his other stuff. He's really fun. He's a funny guy. But yeah, go watch that. It's a really good breakdown of like, as soon as you like, the moment you start actually thinking about those types of games and like the stuff they put in them, it's like it doesn't really make sense at all. It's like you have this whole world and you have the story, but literally the story and the world are completely two separate things, and they don't actually ever really interact too much. The high-speed train here in China has an AC outlet, so I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 on my Stream Deck most of my time. There you go. Remember, don't ever plug that thing into USB though, because you don't know what that USB port is gonna do. Remember, kids, never plug your phone in, or any electronic device, especially in a foreign country. Never plug anything into USB. Never plug anything into USB. A random USB port in a foreign country, never do that. Oh my God, never do that. Even at airports, do not connect to Wi-Fi's at airport, because you have no idea what's being spoofed or what they're injecting or pulling off your phone. Get a USB. Yeah, you can get USB cables that are power only. You can do what I do, which is I just bring wall warts. I just charge off of wall warts. I don't actually plug anything into anything. I only go off wall warts for power. So I just bring like a bunch. I got a bunch of, like, everyone who has a Samsung phone's got like 20 of the little Samsung wall warts. So. The NSA has USB ports you can charge off of at DEF CON. Oh God, if I went to DEF CON, I would be walking there with a pen and paper. I would not bring any electronic device to DEF CON. You're just asking. It's like, and people wonder why I'm so concerned about Clipper. Okay, I love Clipper, don't get me wrong, but I am very concerned with the prevalency of all these companies, which, let's be honest, a lot of these 3D printing companies are garbage with customer support and long-term support of things, and also like security and whatnot. Slapping Clipper on basically a computer and shipping it. A custom version of Clipper on a custom, like on a system on a chip that, let's be honest, is a full computer, and then you're just hooking it up to your home network and giving it full access to your network and connecting it to the internet. And you better hope they didn't do anything screwy there, or they didn't leave a hole open so that somebody else can get in there and do something screwy. That's what I'm so concerned with all these cheap printers coming out with Clipper. All it's going to take is somebody to get their back end hacked into, and then all of a sudden these tons of printers are compromised. Because who here can tell me if okay, so here we go. Let me do this video. There's my Raspberry. Okay, so this is a Raspberry Pi 4. okay? Basically, if you have a printer with Clipper, you have something that can do what this does in your printer. How much damage could I do if I could put any firmware or software on here that I wanted to, and if I could sneak it into anyone's house and just plug it into their home network and get access to their home network? So all of a sudden, I now have a machine on their home network that I control. How much damage can I do? How much damage can I do to your average household home internet if I could get a device that I can control on their home network? How much damage could I do? Because remember, it's not just generic 3D printing company and what they can do you have to worry about. It's what happens if their security is shit and somebody gets in, what they can do. Are you in China right now, John? Okay, have fun with Hot Pot. If you run into Naomi, wish her well. Hope she's doing okay. Although I don't think you're in the same sphere. Don't you have a Ubiquity home network, create a custom VLAN for your printers and setup? Okay, here's the thing, G. Michael. I can do that. I've done that. The majority of people have the router that their internet company gave them with a sticky note stuck to the back with the password on it. It's the default password. Like, let's be honest. Yes, I can do that. You could do that. The majority of people have the generic router that came with their internet with a sticky note written on it with the Wi-Fi password. Break out VLANs with the Pi. Oh, I know people can do it. It's just, let's be honest, the majority, pretty much everyone except for an extremely small percentage doesn't bother. It's not a sticky note. I know, mine's with tape. I have my own router. Like, you want to know what's scary? Back when I worked at an insurance company, okay? I won't say what company, but if you live in Windsor, Ontario, you know what insurance company I'm talking about. You have all these different portals you have to log into. So I sold insurance for a company that pretended to be multiple companies. So we had the contract to do insurance for multiple different companies. I did President's Choice and Costco Insurance in Canada, if you're wondering, along with Aviva. So those companies sell insurance, they're brokers, so they have different companies that they sell through. Each one of those companies has an online portal that you have to sign into every morning. So you get into work, you fire up your computer, that has a sign in. Then you have to log into all these different portals for all the different insurance companies, ICBC, sign in for like to do background checks on people for like tickets and whatnot. You have to sign into like 20 different things every day you get into your office. And of course, a bunch of these have passwords that reset every 30 days and you have to use a new password, and the new password can't be an old password that you've already used. So guess what ends up happening? Every single person has an Excel spreadsheet on their desktop with just the list of all the websites, a list of all the usernames, and a list of all the passwords. Because that's what happens. And then somebody writes a script that you basically import that and it'll auto-launch all the programs. So you come into work and you just click this script and it boots up everything and it auto-signs you into everything. Because it pulls all the sign-in info from the Excel spreadsheet. This was back in like 2010 to 2013. So yeah. Talk about security. About this guy. Oh yeah, it's amazing. Like, when I worked in the tool shop, a sister company of us got hacked. Somebody opened an email that had a link, and the email was like, oh hey, here's the quote. Here's the updated quote for what we were talking about last week. That's all the email said, and it had a link, a PDF. They clicked the PDF, boom, all the entire company network was compromised. And what it did was it got into the email system and then would spam out to anyone who worked at that company's email, would send to all their contacts that exact same email. So our company got getting emails from people who worked at this company going, hey, here's that quote that we were talking about from last week. And it wasn't a PDF, it was a virus. And then they got their entire system got encrypted, and they had to pay Bitcoin to get it unencrypted. Because it was we either pay the however many $100,000 in Bitcoin to get it back, or we have to start over. Like, they had all this stuff that was like files and whatnot from different companies all encrypted, and they were under time constraints. They paid it. remember, what's the easiest way to get something in a company? Ready? USB stick. Walk away. Because somebody's going to go, oh, I found a random USB stick in the parking lot. I wonder what's on it. Plug it into your computer. And you're compromised. That's why backup exists. Paying the ransom just makes more ransomware. It's funny. They actually, the ransom people will fully unlock your stuff if you pay them, because that's the thing. They know if people paid them and they didn't unencrypt everything, nobody would pay them. So they actually do unencrypt all your shit if you pay them, because you have to. Why we block all USB mass storage? Yep. Like on Mr. Robot. The craziest thing I've ever heard of was the Israelis managed to get a virus. Is it Stuxnet? Was it Stuxnet? They basically destroyed a uranium refining facility by getting a virus into a computer by literally just dropping a USB stick in the parking lot. And the virus basically just took the centrifuges and made them spin up and spin down in a way that set them off balance and destroyed them all. It just changed the vibration. And then, hey, let's air gap everything. Okay, this is the crazy one. The Israeli tech people are magic. You have an air-gapped computer. How do we get information off of it? We can get a virus on there. We could drop the USB stick. Some random guy will pick it up, plug it into the computer. But the computer is air-gapped. How do we get stuff off an air-gapped computer remotely? We need to get information off an air-gapped computer. How do we pull the information off of it? Well, what the virus does is it finds the information it needs, it converts it to binary, and then what it does is it taxes the CPU. It does a thing where it speeds up, it basically puts a load on the CPU so that the fan speeds up and slows down. And it vibrates in a way that you can actually pick it up outside the room. With a strong enough microphone, you can detect when the fan spins up and spins down, and there's your 0 and 1. And now you can transmit the data off the computer through a wall by just by basically ramping it up and ramping down the fans, because that makes a vibration, makes an audible noise, and that can be picked up remotely. So 0s and 1s, and you can get the data off the computer. It's crazy what people could do. It's crazy. Water cool your air gap computer. Well, then you get the pump going. Then they'll just get the pump going. Record the blinking light. Yeah, that would be another thing. Any LED that you can get access to. Yeah, it is surprising what you can do if you like think about it in a certain way. Van Eck freaking. I'm not whistling into a phone for free long distance. CPU and monitor generate RF patterns. Yeah, you can turn the screen off and on, or you can just like open up a text document and just display it on the screen and look through the window. And then you have the things that like you plug into the keyboard. So like you got a keylogger that plugs in between the USB port of the keyboard and the computer. So what you do is you come in, you plug it in between you unplug the USB for the keyboard, you plug in your keylogger, you plug it back into the computer, you walk away. You come back a week later, you unplug it, you take it home, and voila, there's every keystroke. So you just got to pretend to be a janitor. Get in, set it up on a computer or two, leave for a week, come back, pick it back up, boom. It is scary out there. Now, luckily, I don't have anything worth stealing, so. The sound of swiping your phone to create your fingerprint. Yep, you can figure out somebody's password by like how they tap on their phone. There's so, especially with AI now that you can throw AI at everything, oh my god. It is getting sketchy out there. Like, considering the fact that, you know, Will Smith can't even eat spaghetti anymore without somebody questioning if it's real or not. Yeah, recording what, yeah. Okay, what am I typing right now? We are 4% done this print. FLIR cams. Yep, FLIR cams, because you can see which button was pressed last, and by the temperature, how long it's been cooling down for, so you can see which, you know, the order of the buttons being pressed. That's a thing you could do. Security is to keep honest people out. Yeah, it's like, you know, dipping my toe back into politics. It's like firearm laws. Somebody who's following the law, you're not going to stop them by putting out more laws. The Sora previews, yeah, give it a year. And like, remember, Will Smith eating spaghetti was less than a year ago, and that looked horrible. And now you can't even tell. Like, you can still tell, but remember, today is the worst day that AI will ever look again. (28-character password, 3-factor authentication plus biological). Yeah. Yeah, Will Smith recreated the video. It was actually kind of funny. I think it was a Twitch stream with just AI and CGI and Joe Biden taking turns and salt. Yeah, the voiceover thing was a thing for a bit last summer, because you can imitate voices pretty easily now. Like, that's the scary thing. All it's gonna take, like, people get ransomed where somebody calls pretending, like, if you have any, like, I have a social media presence. Somebody can easily create an AI of me. Like, that's something I gotta worry about. And I've told my mom that. Like, I have told family members, hey, if you ever get a call from me, or like, and I'm in a panic asking for money, hang up and call me on my phone. Because, like, I have enough, I stream 9 hours a week. You have all the audio you would ever want to make a digital AI clone of me. All the video and audio you want from me. Which is why I run a filter. My voice is actually extremely high-pitched. It's just you don't hear it because I run a filter to drop my voice down. So my voice is actually extremely high-pitched. This isn't my real voice. It's a fake. You'll never know. Exactly. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, people have been taken advantage of because somebody had mimicked their voice and called a family member pretending to be them, saying, oh, hey, I'm in prison, I need money for bail or something. Like, and now with video, it's so easy to fake video. Like, this background's all a green screen. There's nothing here. Like, there's nothing here. It's all a green screen. Like, nothing is real. This is all AI. No biometric once. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, biometric. If it's compromised, you know, if somebody cuts your thumb off, what are you going to do? You can't grow a new thumb. A scam, they use AI to mimic a CEO voice and get something like it. Sebas, if that was what I'm thinking of, it was way more than 50,000. It was a couple million. Show us how many fingers you have. It's funny. You watch YouTubers. YouTubers blur their keys now. Like, they blur their keys. I've seen people blur their fingerprints. It is like, and also, if you notice, there's a lot of YouTube channels that just, like, they do essay videos where they just, like, talk about something with video playing in the background. A lot of those channels now have the person on camera now, because it's so easy to fake voice now. You don't know if a channel is even a real channel. There are so many fake YouTube channels now that are entirely AI generated that just basically read Wikipedia articles with generic video, like royalty-free video on it. It's crazy. It's crazy. You can 3D print a key from a photo. Yep. I can't remember the last time I opened my house with a key, because I used the number pad. Although half the time I just come in through the garage, let's be honest. People with garages. When was the last time you actually unlocked your front door? Drive up on the house, push the garage door opener, go inside, go to the house. What are we at right now? We are at 10:20. So don't forget, if you haven't entered for your chance to win some Polymaker filament, every stream we give away a spool of Polymaker filament. Link in the video description. Enter for your chance to win. And then also, while you're down there, if you want to help support the channel, the content I create, and the things I do, consider becoming a channel member, Patreon supporter, or if you're really cool, you gift memberships to others. Because next week, well, this week coming up, It's the last week of the month, so we have the monthly only Benchy Yacht Club live stream. So if you're a channel member or Patreon supporter, or you find my Twitch channel and give me a Twitch Prime, you get to hang out in that. So. Until the power, they had a blackout. What? That's why you got battery. You have battery to open up the, oh, the front, yeah. Yeah, if they rely on the garage door. Yeah, watch any 3 videos from lockpicking lawyer and never trust the lock again. Yep. The Boley lock. I know, I just have I like number pads. Due to frequency of wear on keys. That's why the trick is you input multiple passwords. Most number locks have multiple passwords. You can actually input multiple passwords. So what we do is I have like 5 passwords for my house. So I have a password I use. My wife has a password she uses. We have a password that we use to give to family if they need to get in the house. And then like one more way. And then we have one specifically that is only used for like one-time use only. So yeah, so we each have our own password for the house. So that way it also, like, it will make the wear uneven. So you can't go like, it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4 is always hit. It's like, I have my own password, she has her own password. There's a couple other passwords in there as well. So that way it's rotated. Which it sucks because now it can be compromised by multiple ways, but it's still, I think, better than just having one password and having the same 4 numbers be used all the time. Random number keys? Yeah. Let's be honest. Most people have like a sliding door to the back of their house that they never lock. Car have locks. Fireman can open with a generic key. Yeah, that's another thing. Like business security is different. Like for a place of business, security is different because let's be honest. The majority of businesses, if somebody wants to get in, they can get in. You know, a lot of businesses have big windows that you can just... So you're pretty much you're locking things up to avoid crimes of opportunity. What about passwords that it sets off a security? Well, that would require having a security system. I got you know, I got to be careful what I say. I do have stuff. I have things in place, but I'm not going to go into any more detail than you don't need to know. Sorry, but the front door of your house is not secure. I don't care what you put on the lock. It's only 1.5 inches of wood. Yeah, if you got a wooden door. I don't have a wooden door. I also don't have a wooden door frame. Hey, it's Tor. I live in Canada. We're not allowed to have those. That did pen tests, including physical, target, security rooms, beefy doors, high, etc. One of our guys saw they had drop ceilings. Oh God, drop ceilings. Yep. Yep, drop ceilings. You just go up and over. Has anyone here seen the report about the Marines with the AI camera? So they went to the bathroom, went up through the ceiling, dropped straight in the room. Yep. So a couple, it was relatively recently, I can't remember if it was Marines or one of the branches of the US military were working on a camera for detecting soldiers, right? Like, so you would set up a camera on like a security and it would look out for soldiers. So the plan was it was being trained to differentiate combatants from civilians. So they spent a whole week with a bunch of Marines like walking around with guns and whatnot and then wearing civilian clothes. And they spent a whole week trying to train this camera to detect who was a threat. And then it's like they went to the Marines after and like, hey, we want you now to try and sneak up on the camera. And they all succeeded by sneaking up because they literally did stuff like hold a bush in front of them and walk up to the camera. Or some of them literally did a Metal Gear and got in a cardboard box. And then some other people just rolled towards it. Because humans walk, they don't roll. So it saw rolling things and it assumed it wasn't a human. And they all defeated it extremely easily. Because it's like, I'm looking for humans with guns. That's a bush. That's a box. That's a rolling person. Those aren't soldiers. Soldiers don't move like that. So, you gotta be careful because sometimes it's smart to be dumb. Yeah, he somersault. Yeah, the guy somersaulted the whole way there. Because the AI is looking for a human walking. So it's not walking, it's not a human. With a sheet? Yeah, they were doing infrared. Yeah, that was an infrared though. Apparently I can live stream vertically to YouTube now. Ooh. We'll be trained through to see. You want to know what's really scary? This is something Naomi brought this up. Naomi, for those who don't know who Naomi was, she brought this up on Twitter. AI, facial recognition, detects eyes plus laser. You want to be scared? There you go. Tilt pan zoom, or pan tilt zoom with a laser on it, face tracking, plus a crowd. She tweeted about that. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. I don't want to know that's a thing. Nope, 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 nope. It is getting sketchy. Technology is scary. Dune walk, yeah. You gotta walk without rhythm so you don't attract the worm. Although, you might get a creepy old actor showing up. Well, she got slapped by the government, so. And YouTube, yeah. Well, it's funny. What was it? I Did a Thing? The YouTuber I Did a Thing. He did a video on using a DJI drone to drop bombs, or not drop something on targets, and using the light. So you basically have a little servo that's activated by a light sensing diode, so that way you fly up your DJI drone, you have a button to turn on a light on the drone, that triggers the servo and it drops something, and he made a YouTube video on it. And then 6 months later, a little incident started going on in the Ukraine with Russia, and now DJI is probably the airframe with the most confirmed KIAs over there. It's kind of, it's going to be really weird once that whole conflict ends and they look up, somebody in Wikipedia has to make the article of all the equipment types used in that conflict and the amount of like damage, and the DJI Mavic drones are going to be high on that list. Like, I bet you a DJI Mavics have like, they've got a body count in the thousands now. DJI Mavics. That is messed up when you think about it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you know, F-16s, F-18s, A-10, you know, it's useless. Okay, yeah, I understand those have like body counts. Those make sense. Your mom's got a pretty high body count too. But like the DJI Mavic, nope, that's got thousands. Ugh. Yeah, 2 pounds of, yeah, you build a quadcopter, you slap a big old battery on it full of lipos so you can get like 10-15 minutes of loiter. You put an old shape charge on the nose and you just fly it into a T-90. Boom! Soviet space program. Like, remember playing Half-Life 2 and they had the Hunter, what were those little drones in Half-Life 2? What are they called? Not the Hunter Seekers. They had like an actual name. But the little drones, imagine, those are real now. And they drop bombs. It's like, I can't make a YouTube video where it's like, hey, I 3D printed a turret that shoots Nerf guns and tracks people. Because like, if I did that, I'd get like, the Department of Defense be calling me up asking if I want to deliver 3,000 units to the Ukraine right now. Like, no. Oh, man hacks. That's what they were. Man hacks. My dog hit in my driveway. Long story, cops did nothing because of incomplete poster. Like license plate, are you talking? So now I record every license plate on my road. Yeah, you can do that easily. Yeah, there's programs like, what is it? The NVIDIA Jetson has built-in like face recognition and whatnot, like built in as part of its operating system. Already before DJI. Oh, I know. It just all of a sudden like it's like off the shelf because it's, you watch those videos and you got the funk music playing in the like blasting, and you watch the video and you see the light, like light enabled. You're like, oh, here we go. I know it's Ukraine, not the Ukraine. I know it's Kyiv, not Kiev. I know it's Kyiv. They already make anti-drone EMP guns. They do, but they're very hit and miss. Apparently the ones that the Russians were putting on their tanks is just like AliExpress electronics, and all it does is just blast RF, hoping it disables the drones. Not like, it's not like targeted. It just blasts everything and hope it works, which you get the same thing if you fly a quadcopter near a cell phone tower. You'll get knocked out from basically just too much frequency going on, so you basically just overload it. The problem is, if the drone's already coming in like this, it's not like it's gonna, you know, go boop. It's gonna keep going on its trajectory. So by the time you get close enough for it to be effective, you're already on a ballistic course towards the target. And they're not remote set off, they're triggered by impact. Almost everything is Russian. Okay, I used to be in the Canadian Forces. I spent 6 years in the Canadian Forces. Now, granted, I never deployed. I was reservist. I was infantry reservist, but I was reservist. So I only did internal like exercises within country. So, you know how disappointed, like not disappointed, but like it was, you know, the Ruskies were the bad guys, and like trench warfare and all, like it's like that scene in Invincible where, like, is it Invincible? In the comic where he like beats the guy up so badly and he's like, I thought you would be stronger. Like, that's where I was like at, like, because I talked to some of my army buddies and we're watching like the Russians make a complete fool of themselves, and I'm like, weren't they supposed to be like really bad, or really like they were supposed to be the really bad guys and be really good at this, and they're bad guys and they're bad at it. And we're like, really? Like, and those work auto trip landmines, but you don't really, yeah, there's a few different ways you can do it. Like, the funny thing is, like with quads, like if you're flying a quadcopter, anyone could pick up your frequency. Like the DJI ones pair because you're using digital, but most of them aren't using digital. They're using analog, I believe, in like HD0. I don't think they're using the DJI protocol over there. They're using like HD0. I think they're using analog. So the thing is, those are open frequencies. Anyone can tune into them. Now, I'm assuming there's some encrypted stuff that they're also using now that's been given to them, but commercial off-the-shelf stuff is just unencrypted. So if somebody's flying a quad around you and they're flying analog, if you have a set that can pick up those frequencies, you can just tune in on it. You just tune to the frequency. It's there. It's like a TV, just very short range. Oh yeah. Oh, I know it's all skimmed and whatnot. I watched Laser Pig 2. RC controls are digital. Yeah, my quads are all ELRS. I do have a few quads that use the DJI video link. I got Gen 1 DJI goggles. So I have 2 quads that have the DJI goggles. The rest are analog, so I have an analog adapter for it. And it's funny because all the other countries that bought Russian shit is like, wait, this shit sucks. T-72 tanks suck. Dragon Ace? No. What are we at anyways? Oh, we've still got half an hour. Eurostream, yes! The video may be analog, but the controls are digital, even the video's analog. Oh yeah, like my quads, I use Express LRS for my control link with my quads. So I use Express LRS. So I have flown one of my quads out 5 kilometers and back. I could probably get further out if it was going one way, but I need to bring them back because I don't want to buy new ones. So my long range quad, I brought out 5K and back in one go. But that's Express LRS for long range. I would argue the U.S. military is always pretty combat effective. They pretty much always have people in charge that have served some point. It helps when you have, you know, Uncle Sam paying for that. But like, China hasn't fought a war ever, really. Nobody in the Chinese military has ever actually done combat, really. So their entire army is entirely paper. Like, in terms of like combat effectiveness, they've never been in real combat. Everything is just theoreticals. So Dragon Ace. What is Dragon Ace? What is Dragon Ace? I gotta look it up. Dragon Ace. What is Dragon? Is it a casino? It's a casino. I don't know. What's Dragon Ace? I assume get Dragon Ace is just a casino. Oh, Triangle Labs Dragon clone? Isn't the dragon already a Triangle Labs thing? Is it? Isn't the dragon already a Triangle Labs thing? So why would they clone it? It's their own thing. That's the thick one? Oh, okay. I don't know. It's probably okay. I don't know. Extended meltdown. I don't know. I haven't put a dragon in anything where I've maxed it out. So, I don't know. Do I fly? Yeah, Night Train FPV. I do have a couple FPV quadcopters. I'm not flying right now because I live in Canada. Winter sucks up here. It's really windy and cold. Although, let's be honest, this winter has been absolutely not a winter. But I just fly around in fields. I don't bando bash or do anything like that. I've got a couple little tiny whoops I fly around in parks. I don't really do it on YouTube, but it's just something I do every now and then. You have a Dragon high flow and it's not enough flow. How fast are you printing and what are you printing? Yeah, oh yeah, Turkey's very happy they got the S400s and passed, they got locked out of the F-35 program. Yeah, very, those S400s, eh? Just ask any A50 how the S400s are doing. Express LRS is nice. I've converted all my quads to Express LRS. It's fall, there were 3 or 4 weeks. We had a couple cold days in January there, or a couple weeks ago, we had a couple cold days. But like, let me pull up my phone. The A50 submarine fleet, well, they got 2 of them down there. Although I think the second one crashed on land, so it's not a submarine. So let's see, what is the next? Okay, so tomorrow is gonna be a high of +8 Celsius. And that is the coldest day until Thursday, when it drops down to +2 Celsius. And then it goes back up to 7 to 12. It'll be 16 Celsius next weekend. So, yeah. It's pretty serious. Oh yeah, it's huge. Losing AN50s is huge for Russia. For those that don't know, Russia, the AN50 or A50, I think it's just A50, is basically AWACS, early warning system. For the Russian Air Force, and they only have like 9 of them, and 2 of them have been shot down, and 1 was hit by a drone while parked at a parking lot. So, not very good for the Ruskies. Not very good for the Ruskies, which is good for us. Now, granted, the Americans have like 100 AWACS in various different forms. They have sea launch ones and air launch, like Air Force ones and Navy ones. So they've got like 100, they got hundreds of them, and the Ruskies have 9. And that really screws them up because thanks to the way things are all combat linked, you have lookup radar and you have look down radar. So if you have a radar system on the ground, it's looking up at things. So it can only see things in its line of sight looking up, versus AWACS, which is look down radar, which obviously, if you got, a hill here and the plane's on the other side of the hill, it's going to be able to see it, whereas your SAM sight is not going to be able to see it. So the whole flying below radar thing, that's how you do it. But that only works if you don't have look down radar, which the Americans have all of the look down radar. So if you lose your look down and you only have that, that means things can get closer and take out things. And they also talk to each other. So you can have a SAM site that can't see the target, but the AWACS can see it and pass the data along so that it can shoot it down. So, yeah. Am I a vet? I do not consider myself a vet. I was in the Canadian Forces Military Reserve for 6 years. I never deployed. I never served overseas. I'm not a vet. I was somebody who was a weekend warrior for a bit. And I did do a few training exercises. I went to the Arctic. I did Arctic warfare training I spent a year doing Arctic warfare training that finalized with like a 1-week exercise in the Arctic. That was fun. No, it wasn't. It was cold as shit. How cold was it? -40 at night. And if you're wondering what -40 is in Celsius and Fahrenheit, yes. There are 9 AN-50s, 5 of which are airworthy, 2 of which have been shot down. Oof. Nah, vet employees like actual I don't know. I don't see myself as a vet. Yeah, technically I can get vet plates, but I never deployed, never did combat. All I did was train. I never left. I did go to the US for training a couple times, but I don't know. I don't consider myself a vet. Sleeping in a sleeping bag in a -40 tent sucks. It does! It does a lot, believe me. Especially when it's on Arctic sea ice. And you wake up in the middle of the night to the tides breaking all the ice around you. It sounds really freaky. Also, it's not one sleeping bag, it's 2. Favorite fast food to get when traveling? To be honest, McDonald's. Because it's reliable. It's something you can't get locally. I don't know. We have a Five Guys now. I can get Chick-fil-A now locally. That's cool. 38. Oh god, that was the worst. I hated sleeping outside in the summer. Because most of the time I didn't even get in my sleeping bag. I would just get in my bivy bag and just fall asleep. Because you get in your bivy bag, you put the hood over you, you sweat like crazy, but at least the mosquitoes can't get you. Guarded the ice. Yeah, you gotta be careful of that ice. Here's the thing. Personally, I prefer the cold over the heat because when it's cold, you can always put more on. But people don't like it when you walk around naked. And yes, we did have stoves and whatnot in the tents. It wasn't like we were completely freezing. We did have Coleman stoves going and whatnot. So it was only -5 in the tent. It's funny. My unit was the southernmost. It is the southernmost unit in Canada, and we were the only regiment on that entire exercise not to have a cold weather casualty. So. The unit that when we got up there, they're like, "Hey, you guys, this regiment, you guys get to bomb around on snowmobiles for the next week." At first, they were all happy. Until they all got frostbite. Their faces, after the end of the week, their faces were all messed up from windburn and frostbite, and they hated it. Because the guy driving the snowmobile wasn't too bad, but you always had a guy on your back because it was 2 people per snowmobile. So all you did was just sit there, not move, and hang on and freeze as you drove around in a snowmobile. It actually sucked. They hated it. Whereas us, we just walked everywhere. Dragging a 300-pound sled with all your gear on it while carrying an 80-pound rucksack. Fun times! I wish I knew. I have all the photos on my server somewhere. I just don't know where. Hey, you can see the Comgrow Robo CNC. Completely blown out. So if you're wondering what my bunker freezer's doing right now, it's holding the CNC machines. Take care, Night Train. Snow is super warm. Until you try eating it. Don't eat snow. What time we got? 15 minutes left. Sweet. Ice fishing when the ice stress fracture sounds like that. Oh yeah, that was, we got out of the tent. So we were up there, the ice was feet thick. Like it was several feet thick. But the one night we were out there and spent the night on Arctic sea ice, we woke up and like we had like we had like 4 tents. We had 4 tents. And then we had the guide. He had his own thing. And right through the middle, a giant fracture had opened up overnight. Like big enough you could fall in. Now, granted, you couldn't fall, it was just a fracture. It just opened up, so there wasn't water in there. It might have frozen, we didn't see water, but it opened up overnight and nobody noticed it. So all of a sudden there's like a gap this much, just several feet down. It's like, oh, that's would have sucked if it opened up under one of our tents. Yeah, that was a little sketchy. It sounds so weird. It sounds like, you know, Star Wars, the it sounds like that. It's really weird. Are there any VAs in camp? Like, what do you mean VA? Like, what VA? Veteran Association? Is that what it is? That's an American term. We have the Legion, and anyone who is current or relatively recently former Canadian Forces hates them. They're horrible. The Canadian Forces Legions are horrible. They're run by old boomers who most of them didn't even serve. Like the majority of Legions, at least that I've been to, the people running it are the kids of like World War II and Korean vets, and they're all crotchety old boomers who hate all the new people. So it's shit. Like nobody from my generation goes to a Legion. It's garbage, and most of them are closing down because they can't get people to go because it's run by old crotchety boomers who hate new people. Because most of them aren't even vets. They're the kids of vets, but you know they always show up with all their medals. It's a vet medical system here. Oh, this is Canada. It's just healthcare. We don't have a separate like healthcare plan for vets because it just falls under normal Canadian healthcare, as far as I'm aware. Like, yeah, we have medical hospitals like in the military system, but like as far as I'm aware, it just falls under normal Canadian healthcare that we all have. Yeah, we have a normal healthcare system. Like, we don't have, yeah. Their benefits usually medical, but not all the time. Yeah. Anyone could join now. Yeah, the Legion is really weird in Canada, and a lot of people don't like it. I used to go there on like, you know, Remembrance Day and whatnot, go to a few levies, and it's so weird because like all the new people, all the people that actually like run the Legions hate all the new people. They just want their cheap beer and darts, and they don't like when like, how do I word, people that, it's an older generation, put it that way. It's an older generation running it, put it that way. And they have their ways, and they're set in their beliefs, put it that way. Yeah, like I understand there are military hospitals, but in terms of like, okay, you leave the military, you just fall under normal Canadian, like same healthcare I got. I don't even have a technical job, and I have healthcare. Like, that's one of the reasons I can do the YouTube thing. It's because I don't need to worry about healthcare. Now, granted, my wife also has an amazing plan through her work, so I leech off that shit. But we can. I mean, I don't know about you, but like when we had the little guy, we were in the hospital for 4 days, cesarean section, tons of drugs, and a bunch of other stuff, and I paid $10 for parking. That's all it cost me. I don't know about you, but like, you know, if my leg hurts and I go there, they take an X-ray and they look at it and go, "Oh, you're okay," and I go home. And I don't pay anything. Like, yeah, we have some waiting times for some optional stuff a lot of the time, and it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong, the system ain't perfect, but you know, at least I'll never have to worry about going into debt and having to declare bankruptcy over my healthcare. Had to pay for parking? Yeah, that's where they get you. You had to pay for parking. And it's because I parked in the short-term parking when I got there, and then I moved to the long-term, and I didn't have to pay for that. Areas are swamped. Apparently, down where I am has like the shortest wait time, because like I've gone in for a few medical things over the past year that you guys don't need to worry about. And like I had no wait times, like appointments were within like a couple weeks. Like it was relatively like I'm like, I'm okay with this. I don't know. Majority control. Yeah, like what is it? 39 of the top 40 countries on Earth have universal health care and have figured it out. And there's only one country that hasn't, and I don't know why. It's not exactly hard because, you know, pretty much every other major developed country has figured it out, and none of them have the GDP of this one country that hasn't figured it out. So I don't know which country hasn't figured it out. Like everyone else figured it out, so I'm sure they could too. But my short-term profits, I gotta have my short-term profits. Hospital. Well, here's the thing. Is it because of the healthcare system, or it's because the population has grown substantially in a relatively short time in a small area and the facilities haven't grown to accommodate them? Because that's the issue we're having now. Also, which London are you talking about? I'm Canadian, so we have a London, Ontario, which is a relatively large-sized city in Canada. So, fake London? Okay. Yeah, Ontario healthcare is kind of shit. Our current government's kind of really screwing it up. Then again, which government hasn't screwed everything up? Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the last time I went to an emergency room was, when was it? The last time I went to an emergency room is when we thought the little guy had COVID. So we had to go to that. So we had to like go through the emergency room to get to the COVID area. And the amount of people that were there for like not issues is ridiculous. Like, just because it also acts like a walk-in doesn't mean it's a walk-in. Like, we have walk-in clinics here. You can just walk into a clinic for pretty much everything other than critical stuff. And then you just wait in line, and then they see you, and they give you drugs or whatever, and they send you on your way. That's where you go to if you got the sniffles. You don't go to the hospital, but we have people that go to the hospital for that. So. Primary care, yeah. Steve, what are you doing here so late? I will say this is going really well. Like, well, I guess, hey, this is a 3D printing YouTube channel. Occasionally I do 3D printing stuff. To recap the Mk3.5 upgrade, that was shit simple. Like, if I had to describe the Mk3.5 upgrade, because we're getting to the end of the stream, so I might as well actually recap what we've been working on. If you have a Mark III, or if you were really lucky, honestly, if anyone here is serious about 3D printing, keep an eye out on like Facebook marketplaces, Kijijis, Craigslist for you Americans and whatever else, because people are offloading Mark IIIs relatively cheaply. Somebody in chat earlier was saying they found one for 150 bucks. A Mark III for 150 bucks. Like, that's a damn good deal, because other than it just being a little slow, it's a perfectly fine printer. So, get it, throw some new electronics in it. It prints just damn fine as is. The next extruder would be nice, but that drives the price up quite a bit. So it's going to be really interesting to compare this guy to my Mark III that has the Revo Roto, because this is fully solid. This is the original hardware with a new brain. So it's going to be really interesting to compare this to a Mark III that has a new hardware, a new extruder and hot end, but the old brain. And it's going to be very interesting to compare those two. So I think that's what I might make a video on that. Because let me go grab it. I'll be back in a second. Talking to myself. Talking to myself. Talking to myself. Oh, shoot. I gotta find the spool holder. So yeah, so I've got, let's move you over here. So I'm gonna have to move all of this. There. Da-da-da-da. Got that guy. Probably put all these back in the drawer. I should be able to fit both of them on here. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, so we got this guy. I don't even need one. These are all the screws left over from the upgrade. Look, these are all the screws left over from that upgrade. Yeah, so this is a fully stock Mark III S Plus that I built. That has a Revo Roto. So other than the Revo Roto, it's stock. This is a fully stock Mark III with new electronics. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they compare print-wise. It'll be really interesting to see. So I think you can run 3.5 G code on here. So I should be able to run 3.5 G code on here. So if I slice something for this, I should be able to run it on here. I gotta find the spool holder. It'll be really interesting to see how these compare, if there is a difference. Because how much is, let's see here. 3.5. Okay, so the hypothetical is you just picked up a used Mark III S Plus on whatever. So you just picked up a used Mark III S Plus. Let me see, I gotta find an American seller of it. There we go, Phil Extruder. Standard. No, do they sell the combo? Hot side kit, there we go. Yeah, so $250 to get the new electronics, or if you go with a Revo Roto, it's we'll go with the standard, because you don't need the extra sensors. You don't need the extra sensors. So standard, so it's $150 plus the hot side. So you're looking at about the same price. So it's about the same price. So you have two options. So you picked up a used Mark III for 150, 200 bucks, and you have $250 to spend on upgrades. Do you go with a new extruder and hot end, or do you keep the old hardware and put a new brain in it? It'll be interesting to see how that compares. Because they both should be able to move as fast. But this doesn't have input shaping, but it's got a better extruder and hot end. So it'll be very interesting. Some of the M commands might not work. I mean, we could see, I don't have an SD card. One of these boxes has an SD card in it. You have an SD card in it. There we go. My good RAM. So it'll be really interesting. If it doesn't work, if I can't use the same G code, I'll just make a new slicer profile. So I'll just take a Mark III profile and put the start-stop G code of the Mark III. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see which is better, actually. It'll be really interesting to see. It is so much smaller, though. Like, look at that there versus. So it's gonna be, yeah. I'll do a compare and contrast between the two. Which means I'm gonna have to set these up in the basement. And I'll have to get the Mark IV set up too. So, I gotta find the spool holder. So yeah, this has the original Mark III frame, this doesn't. So. Although, this is taller. Oh, they changed the pads, that's why, okay. Well, how's the print quality between the two? How's... Print quality is the same. Cool. M5.2, what? What's going on? I think I'm gonna send you two SPL. What's an SPL? Yeah. Like here's, yeah, same frame. Okay, so for those that don't know, the Mark IV frame has a bunch of hexagon cutouts in the back. They're not cutouts because it's a die cast frame essentially. They injection mold it with metal. This frame is just a flat sheet that's laser cut or water jet cut to this shape. Where this is like a metal injection molded one, MIM. So this though has the hexagons in the back. This is a Mark IV frame that came with my Mark III, which kind of makes sense because Prusa probably started ramping down Mark III production. They fully ended Mark III production. So they probably ran out of original Mark III frames and just put on these just in case. So this is actually a weird, I think I have the only Mark 3.55 in the world. So this is a Prusa Mark 3.55 because it's the Mark 3.5 plus a Mark IV frame. So I have a one-of-a-kind special printer here. Although I'm assuming some other people probably have the same setup. Anyone else that Prusa sent a Mark III to recently probably has the same frame. So. Steve, yeah, you still haven't got yours? They shipped them at the same time. Steve's doing the same thing I'm doing. Prusa's actually doing stuff with content creators now. Woo! Go Prusa. Your Mark III had the Mark IV? So I'm wondering how long ago they switched over. Actually, I could tell you. Where is it? Because this is MIM, and since it's MIM, it's got to have it. There it is. Okay. My frame was made in... What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 9, 10, 11, yeah. So 8. So my frame was made in August of last year. My frame was made in August of last year. There's a date wheel. Anything that's injection molded usually has a date wheel or date grid on it, so you can keep track of when stuff was made. So you just put a little punch in it every time you add a month, or and there's like a dial in the middle for the year. So this was made in August of 2023 is when this frame was made. So. Yeah, the new frame has less material. Also, it's got hexagons, which are the bestagons, so it's actually more rigid too. So it's a lighter frame and it's more rigid. Also, you don't have all the scrap material because when they cut this out, and then they cut out the bed. The bed sits in the middle of this, and they cut it out as well. And now I think it's injection molded as well. I don't know if it's MIM as well or what, but yeah. Okay. What about skeletonizing the Y carriage? It is already pretty skeletonized. Like, I don't know if they have any pictures of it. Oh, somebody, oh shoot, I probably can't check it. Somebody wanted to ask, I'm pretty sure this is compatible with the MMU3. Somebody was asking about if the Mk3.5 can use the MMU3. I think it can. I think there's a setting on the screen I could check to see to make sure, like enable MMU. But I forgot to do that, so I can't do that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Oh, I have a Pi in here. I keep forgetting I have a Pi 2 in here. Yeah, there you go, Pi 2. Is it a Pi 2 or Pi 3A? Oh, it's a Pi 02. Yeah, I keep forgetting I have that. There we go. Pretty sure 3.5 can use M3. Display is with extruder on Mark IV. Okay. Okay. Yeah, if your frame is flat on both sides, it's the old style frame. It's the water jet frame where they just cut it out of a sheet. So they cut this out, and then you also had the bed frame was in the middle, but you still had a lot of wasted material. Versus this, you don't have that wasted material because it's MIM. Okay, let's do this giveaway. Wheel of Names. So every stream, we give away a spool of filament from Polymaker, and this is a stream. So let's give away a spool of filament from Polymaker. If you did not enter, you will have another chance on Tuesday when we do some more CNC shenanigans. We're going to be building the bed for the, not the bed, we're building the frame for the CNC machine, the Milo. Because as it is right now, it sits on a frame. So, like, as you can see in this picture, see how narrow that y-axis is? So it'll tip over pretty easily. Yeah, it sits up. We got to build a big old table for it. What time Tuesday? We're back on 2 p.m. My wife's on days this week, so we're back at 2 p.m. streams for this week and next week coming up. So somebody give me a number between 3 and 4, because this is a 3.5, so it's between 3 and 4. So somebody give me a number between 3 and 4, including 3 and 4. 3 works. 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be right here. It's going to be this. It's going to be the red or the blue line right there. I can feel it. It is going to be the oddball out. Oh, it's going to make it. It's going to make it. It's going to make it. It's coming. It's going to. Fuck. One day. Brian Lido. Congratulations. You're like the cousin of the guy who took over the planet in Dune. Brian Lido. Oh wait, no, that's not Dune. Lido. No, that's right. Lido Atreides. Yeah, no, that's right. So congratulations, Brian. You will get an email from me after the stream ends with information on how to collect your filament from Polymaker. Woo! I dropped something. What did I drop? Oh, I'm sleeping. Okay, so that's about it. Will this fit over that? No, that won't. So, I think that's about it. Anything else you guys want me to cover before we call it a day? I think we're pretty much at the end. 3.76. Oh. Any last minute things after dark? After dark's more fun when I've had whiskey. I don't have whiskey, and actually, I'm kind of tired, I'll be honest. Although, I made katsu pork for dinner, like DIY katsu pork, because I had like an old pork roast I just sliced up, and then make katsu pork with rice. It was actually really good. That was really good. I've never done katsu pork. It actually came out really good. I mean, probably wasn't good for me considering it's deep fried pork with a bunch of salt, but it was good. I made some homemade katsu sauce. That was a nice dinner. Although I'm hungry again, so we'll see. Also, I have got so many Prusa beds now because I have 3 Prusa bed flingers. So now I've got like a bunch of extra Prusa beds. I think they screwed up. Yeah. I got a satin, I got a textured, I got a smooth, I got another smooth. That has a smooth on it. That has a smooth on it. And then the one downstairs has a satin. So I've got all the Prusa plates. Do these fit on a Voron? Can you use the Prusa plates on a 250? Do they fit on a 250? Can you put a Prusa plate on a 250? How big is a 250 plate? Because I know it's not the same size. Oh no, it's not the same size. That won't work. It's close, but not close enough. So yeah, got all the Prusa beds. The satin sheet is awesome. The only reason I'm still using the smooth on these is because they both have smooth. Smooth is best for PLA. Apparently smooth is the best one for PLA, but if you print anything other than PLA, textured, but satin's good with everything. They fit on a switch wire. I know they fit on a switch wire. The switch wire uses the same bed, but you have more print volume on a switch wire. I really wish you could get the satin, because little secret, the Prusa beds are actually, they make them themselves, or they work with the people that make them, so they're not like off the shelf PI beds like everyone else uses. They actually are good. And the satin bed, I wish they sold that by itself. I want to put those on my Borons. I wish they sold like generic 250, 300, 350s of the satin beds. You can use, like, here's the thing though, okay? Yeah, you can put this on a printer. The problem is, it's not 250. Oh, this doesn't have inch. I gotta have a scale with inch on it. I gotta have a scale with inches on it. Do you have inches on it? No. What do you? Oh, there you go. So it is. It's like 238 millimeters. So it's 238. It's 250 on the X. It's over 250 on the X, but on the Y, it's only like 238. So you do lose a bit of print volume. That's the only downside. But the satin sheets are so nice. I love them. Although I've got my fingerprints all over it now. Nice if they had standard. Yeah, the problem is, like, they don't do standardized sides because they have to have the cutout for the indexing points in the back, and it can't be too wide because it'll hit the frame, and it can't overhang the front or the back. So it makes sense. It's only it's 210 usable on a Prusa. On a switch wire, you get like 230 because the bed itself is actually bigger than 210. Like, see the rectangle is where the Prusa can reach, but technically you could print anywhere on this bed. It's just, this is only where the machine can physically reach. So yeah, we'll get this guy fired up, and I'll get some sample G-code for similar prints and load them up. What's a good used price for a Prusa Mk3 3S? If you could pick one up for under 500, in my opinion, it's a steal. The closer to 300. Because once you get it to 300, that's like better than, like, let's be honest. Yes, it's not going to be the fastest printer in the world. It's a Prusa Mk3. But other than speed, it pretty much blows away any other under $500 printer, in my opinion. Like, we can't compare it to the A1 because that's under a friggin' recall right now for safety issues. So yeah, under like $300, a used Mk3 blows everything out of the water, in my opinion. And you know it will be 5 years from now. You can hit up Joe and be like, "Yo, Joe, my controller blew up. I need a new Einstein." And he'd be like, "Okay, buy it off the store. We keep them in stock. Like, we got them. Here's full instructions on how to replace them." Like, who here is looking for replacement parts for their Anycubic Mega i3 from 5 years ago? Who's carrying spare parts in stock for that? And then you can put Clipper on it. Like, I tried putting Clipper on here, and you have to do stuff with a bootloader, and I didn't want to finagle with that, so I just said screw it and revert it back to the stock firmware. But if you want to put Clipper on here, go get yourself a Pi 02. It literally plugs in via UART. You have to buy some long pins, solder them on. It plugs into the board via UART. It's a Pi 02, so it's powerful enough to run a webcam. And you got Wi-Fi access, and you can do input shaping. And that costs what, a Pi 02. So yeah, you can, if you can pick up a used Mk3 for a relatively decent price, it'll blow anything else under $300 plus or minus $100. That's what I would say. Some Prusa items are only available to Prusa printer purchases. Some certain items, but I understand why. But the majority of items aren't, as far as I'm aware. And I'm pretty sure if you bought one used, you could still get stuff. So yeah. And they're quiet. Remember when the selling point of printers was it's quiet? These are quiet. The Magneto's quiet, but the Magneto's a completely different beast. The VZBot's loud. The Bamboos are crazy loud. Even with the new firmware, they're still way louder than they should be. My Vorons are pretty quiet because I print ABS and I don't run them at crazy high speed, so. But remember when printing, like, oh, it's quiet, it's got TMCs, it's got quiet, listen. I miss that. I miss being able to, I've had this running down, well, not this one, I've had the Mark IV. The Mark IV printing downstairs while I'm watching a movie on the TV, and I'm like, oh shit, it's printing. Yeah, we're still good. Like, I completely forgot I was printing something. And I had the door open to the print room and everything. What exactly is a satin bed sheet? Okay, very simple. I have all three here. So you have your traditional bed sheet, which is just PI sticker on spring steel. So this is just a sheet of PI on spring steel. Then you have textured, which is big old chunks of PI glued to a bed, okay? And then you have sateen, which is not a sticker, but it's not chunks of PI, which is very, very fine. So you get the bite of textured and the smooth finish of smooth. And you could do PETG on here and not have a horrible day too. So mine downstairs, my Mark IV downstairs, which is pretty much on PLA and PETG only duty, has a sateen bed and it's beautiful. I love it. All the parts that we did for this were printed on the sateen bed, and look at that finish. Look at that finish. That blurry 1080p finish. That smooth finish. Yeah. A little birdie may have showed me a picture of, sent me a video of how they do the satin beds, how they apply the PI. Ooh. Yeah, I can't show you it, but it's pretty cool. That's why 180. 180 is a great size. I wish more printers were 180. I think 180 is a pretty good size to get into. The problem is the price delta isn't really there. Because certain things on a 3D printer will always cost the same. A stepper motor is always going to cost the same. Controller is always going to cost the same. Tool head's always going to cost the same. The only thing you save on when you make the printer smaller is the bed and the frame. And depending on your economies of scale, it's usually not a huge delta. So look at the A1 and the A1 Mini. The A1 Mini, for $100 more, you get a machine that's twice as capable, in my opinion. So in that case, it's like, who's buying A1 Minis? People who can't buy A1s because it's under a freaking recall. So that is dumb. The Prusa Mini really needs an update. Oh my God, the Prusa Mini horribly needs an update. But, you know, the price delta between the Prusa Mini and the Prusa Mark III or Mark IV makes a bit more sense. What Prusa needs to do is start having a single tool-headed Core XY. They have the Prusa AFS, okay? So you got the Prusa Pro, okay, they rolled it under the Prusa Pro brand. They have these guys. They have a whole flipping wall of these things. Just take this, okay, I gotta mute the music so I don't get copyright. Just take this and sell it on its own. Have it like a 275 bed. Make it like an oddball size bed that's bigger than a 250, but not a 300. So whatever the little plates are, the chiclet bed, whatever the chiclet bed is, like 9x9 or whatever, 8x8 or whatever, or 3x3 or 4x4, whatever it is, just sell this by itself. Call it the Prusa XI or whatever for individual, because you got the XL, So call it the XI, the individual. Single tool head, Core XY, nice big open front for easy maintenance, getting everything out of. Look at this. It's already its own thing. Why aren't you selling this, Prusa? Sell it, enclosure, 1,200 bucks, blow everyone out of the water. Do it. Just do it. Do it. Wrong camera. Do it. And put a camera in it. Put a flipping camera in it. You can put a camera there. Look at these LEDs. Look at this. Look at this. Why? Why? You're leaving money on the table, Joe. The amount of DMs that I have with Joe that are, when are you going to sell the XI? When are you going to make it a thing? When are you going to make it a thing? Make it a thing, Joe. Just do it. 280, yeah, 280, 280, 280, neck extruder enclosed. Even 280, 280, 250. Neck extruder enclosed. Print the parts out of PETG or ABS. The funny thing is the AFS is older than the bamboo machines, if I'm not mistaken. They announced the AFS a long time ago. But it's a business thing, so they've got business consumers buying that thing. Is the Mark IV good to switch wire? No. Mark IV, turning a Mark IV into a switch wire is a complete waste. I would never do that. Now, if you could buy like a clapped out Mark III kit and turn that into a switch wire, that makes a bit more sense. But let's be honest, the only thing you're really reusing is the bed and the motors. So at that point, just buy the bed and the motors and make a switch wire because you're not using a lot of the frame. You're throwing a lot out at that point. Oh, we already did the giveaway, sorry. Let me close that. We did the giveaway at 11. This is kind of Nero After Dark, but it's not, because I didn't turn the light off. But yeah, I would not turning a Mark IV into a switch wire is a waste in my opinion, because let's be honest, the Mark IV and the switch wire are pretty much just as good. Like there's really no delta between the two to be worth it. Oh, Mark IV or switch wire. Do you want to build your printer from scratch or not? Personally, it depends. That's a user question. I've built both. I use my Mark IV. My switch wire has been scavenged for parts. Okay, it's telling me it's time to go. It's telling me it's time to go. Plug this in. There we go. Can't run out of battery if you got a 20,000 milliamp battery pack, eh? I can't remember the last time I charged this. It's still got 3 out of 4 lights, so. So we're gonna call it there, I think, because my battery's dying on me. Where do these wires come from? Oh, jam up in there. There you go. Get in there. Where are those wires from? Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna call it there. So this is the wrap up of the Prusa Mk3.5 build. If you have a Mark III and you want to get some more functionality out of it, my initial impression, just going off, you know, a benchy print before and after upgrading. So this before upgrading, after upgrading. Print quality difference, you're not gonna see a huge leap. Like you're not going from Ender to like Stratasys here, okay? You're not getting a massive leap in print quality. But what you are getting is better usability, more newer firmware with things like Input Shaper, and Wi-Fi and Ethernet connectivity. So if you're running like a farm of these, and if you want to upgrade them so you have better connection, you can connect on Wi-Fi, you can use Prusa Connect and all that. That might be an option for you. If you only have one machine, if you only had one machine, to be honest, what I would do is I would get a Prusa, the Mark IV full upgrade kit. Let me pull it up here. Let me pull it up here. Prusa Mark III upgrade. Okay, So you can get $50. What? Oh, that's the S Plus. Okay. Where is... Okay, here you go. So that contains the North. Yeah. So this is, it's only $579? I thought it was more than that. Yeah, $579. Yeah. Okay. So personally, if you only had one machine, okay, if you only had one machine, you had a Mark III, should I upgrade to the Mark IV? What I would do personally, I would get this kit, $579. Upgrade your Mark III to a Mark IV. Then, let me find it here. Really? You can buy it from there? Okay, cool. Then, go to wherever you can buy one and get a bare frame. So go pick up your freaking, there you go. Rat Rig sells them for €85. Here in Canada. Okay, a bit more here in Canada. There you go. LDO bare frame from Printed Solid. There you go. So that's what I personally would do. If I had a Mark III and that was the only printer I have, or I only had a couple printers and it was my workhorse machine, I would get the Mark IV upgrade kit, upgrade it to a Mark IV, and then take all the parts that I had left over from the Mark III, buy a bare frame, put that in a bare frame and throw a clipper on it. That's what I would do, because then you get two printers for half the cost of a new Mark III, pretty much, or for less than a new Mark IV. That's personally what I would do. Now, if you had multiple printers now, like, so you had a farm, or you have like 4 or 5 Mark IIIs and you want to look into them. In that case, you might be better off just doing piecemeal upgrades. If you're currently happy with the print quality of the prints and you just want them to be a little bit faster and get more functionality out of them, the 3.5 makes a lot of sense. The 3.9 is a weird one. The 3.9 is a very weird position because it's $499. The only difference between the Mark 3.9 and the full Mark IV is the motors. So is the 0.9 degree stepper motors on the XYZ that important? Because you might be better off doing this one, but I think this one comes, yeah. This one would give you the leftover motors to do a bare upgrade. Versus this, you don't have any extra motors. So if you wanted to reuse your extra parts to do like a bare upgrade, you would still have to buy 4 motors. Now, granted, you could probably buy any 4 motors, although you might have to fiddle around with configuration. Reduce VFAs. What are VFAs? Can I see? Actually, oh, that is a bit different. Okay, I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera. This is going to be a bitch to show on camera. Let me just zoom in. Okay. Okay, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. Okay, this one right here is the new one. Let's see if I can get a camera angle that shows it. Let me hit the light right. Okay, there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the new one. This one, you could see the tooth pattern a bit more. There you go. You can see the tooth pattern in it. So this is a stock Mark III. This is 3.5. You can still see a bit of a moire, but this one you can see the tooth pattern. You can see the teeth, the VFAs. This one, it's a lot less pronounced. There you go. There you go. Somebody screenshot that, because there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to take a picture of that. That is probably the biggest difference. So you get about a 20 to 30% speed increase, and you don't get these VFAs. This is the old one. Remember, this is a 3.3 or a Mark III. This is the 3.5 here. So that's all the 3.9 to the 4. Well, remember, this also has input shaping now too. So input shaping is helping a bit with that too. Also, these aren't exactly the same machine. This is a Mark III that I built myself like 2 years ago. This is a brand new Mark III that Prusa built and sent me that we upgraded to a Mark 3.5. So they're not exactly the same machines. It's not like it's a one-to-one comparison. Oh, this one is actually. This one is, because I printed both of these on this machine. This one is the odd one. But other than that, so you get about a 20 to 30% speed increase. The prints are a little bit cleaner, but not drastically. But you get Wi-Fi connectivity, Ethernet connectivity, input shaping, and future updates, because who knows what Prusa's cooking, because now you have the newest controller board. So any updates that Prusa comes out with over the next 5 years, this machine gets. This one is already kind of UL'd. So you're still gonna get long-term support with this, but it's end of life. So they're not gonna probably put a lot more time into R&D and firmware and whatnot for this. So yeah, so it really depends on what your current situation is. If you only had a couple machines, if you only had one machine, honestly, what I would do would be do the full Mark IV upgrade, take the leftover parts, buy a new bare frame for like 90 bucks from RatRig. Well, 90 euros, so whatever that works out to, or wherever. You can, Printed Solid has bare frames from LDO. Get a bare frame, and then just rebuild it. So now you have a Mark III in a bare frame and the Mark IV, and then put Clipper on the Mark III, so you can get input shaping on it and all the other fun stuff. If you had multiple printers, if you had like a print farm, you will probably get a more bang for your buck upgrade with the Mark 3.5. If you had a print farm and you're already happy with the current quality of the prints, you will probably get a much bigger bang for your buck with the 3.5 upgrade than going to the 3.9. Because one, it's double the price, and it's just for the next extruder, which, does the Mark IV print that much faster? I don't think it prints that much more faster than the 3.5. I'll have to play around with the slicers and whatnot and take a look. But I think if you had like a farm of Mark IIIs and you were looking to upgrade them, this would be what you want. This one right here. Because you get the input shaping, you get the increased speed, more functionality out of the machine for only $250, versus you get the same thing plus an extruder. So yeah. Oh yeah, I'll put the Mark IV. I'll have all three of my Prusas, my Prusa bed flingers printing. They're i3s. This isn't that I don't have it out here. The Mark IV is just the Mark IV. Because it's like, oh, the Prusa i3 series. It's not i3. Now this is an i3. That's an i3. The one I have downstairs is just a Mark IV. It's not an i3. Because they actually dropped the i3. It's just Mark IV. Like it's just a Mark IV now. So anyways, we're gonna call it there. Because I'm all out of stuff to drink and I'm hungry and I'm tired and it's 11:30. So we're gonna call it there. I'm gonna let this print finish, and then what I'll do is I'll set these up and try and run as similar G-code as possible between these two, to see if it's better to go with if you only had 250 quid, what would you buy? Is new brain or new tool head? So we'll see. So we're gonna call it there. Shout out again to Prusa for sending me this Mark III printer along with the Mark 3.5 upgrade kit for this build series. So if you want to get one of these yourself or look at any Prusa stuff, I do have a link to them in the description in my links. It is an affiliate link if you're interested in that. If not, just Google Prusa.com and go take a look. Also, shout out to Polymaker for the spool of filament we gave away this stream and every stream. Links for them and more in the video description. Affiliate links don't cost you anything extra. Go a long way in supporting the channel. And then also, for those that donate to the channel, gifted memberships to others, or became members of the channel yourself, I thank you. I would not be able to do the things I do, create the content I create, without your continued support. You make it all possible. And lastly, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Tuesday, CNC. So Tuesday, we're gonna start the CNC. Friday, or continue the CNC, the Milo. Friday, I might just do a print and chill Friday. And then next Saturday, I do have a Prusa enclosure in a box right here. So we're gonna get the Mark IV set up in that, so I can put it on the wall here. Because the P1P is now moved downstairs because I can't fit it on there with the touchscreen on it. So that's where the Prusa is gonna go. So I'll have a Prusa out here in the garage. That'll be cool. So for everyone else, it's Saturday night. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you on Tuesday. Maybe Monday. I might do some Helldivers on Twitch on Monday. We'll see. Anyways, goodbye.